Sports talk done better.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Good morning and welcome in to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-host, John Luke Garofalo. John Luke Garofalo.
What up?
JL.
Good morning.
I know we got all sorts of stuff to talk about, but I got to start immediately with, you were at that game last night. You saw Justin Tucker kick the game-winning field goal. You have your Ravens shirt on, so clearly you're a Ravens fan. For anybody that doesn't know, how was it? How did it feel? How was the atmosphere?
The atmosphere was potent. The atmosphere was wild. Nelly played the halftime show in what might have been the cringiest concert I've ever been to. It was they brought out, it was so bad they brought out Ray Lewis in the middle of it to get everybody hyped up because nobody was reacting. And then he just walks back into the tunnel. But it was incredible. It was a great game. Justin Tucker is automatic, man. That guy goes out there, he doesn't even worry. He's not even worried.
No, whenever they got into field goal range after that big Lamar run, I was like, oh, cool. So Tucker's going to get to kick a game-winning field goal. It's what's going to happen in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely unreal. And then you look at that score. You got the Justin Tucker show last night. Know what I mean? If he's approaching the end of his career, like, I'm glad. I know maybe it wasn't the Lamar performance that you were wanting from a game. Like you didn't get the 3 touchdowns. You didn't get the crazy, but you got, what was it, 4 Justin Tucker field goals, including a game winner as the clock hit double zeros. Like, that's awesome. What a game. That's exciting that you got to be there for that. And the Ravens yet again continue doing what they do best. It doesn't matter if the opponent scores 15 points or 50 points. They are always just like,
right in line. It's always a close game.
Every time, and they pull out more than they lose, but that's such an exciting team to be a fan of.
Honestly, I'm sitting there the whole game just knowing that that's going to be the outcome, knowing that it's going to come down to the final last minutes.
Every single time. For some reason, you bringing up the Nelly halftime show reminded me, I forget what game it was. I think it was a Thanksgiving game, and the halftime performance was Andy Grammer out there singing like, nah, nah, honey, I'm good. I could have another, like that song. That's the legal limit. I'd say less than the copyrighted amount, so we're good. Yeah. But in the crowd, their crowd that they had around Andy Grammer was all children. So like on the field, they had like a bunch of like 6 to 10-year-olds. I don't know how old kids are, if we're being honest, but they were like young children just in the crowd, ages, like all separated. Like I think it was still COVID pandemic time. So they just had like a bunch of children separated around his stage dancing to hit. It was the most uncomfortable halftime show I've ever seen. And it was on TV. I can't imagine how weird it was in person.
Oh no.
Did they have people out on the field for the Nelly show?
He wasn't out on the field. He was like in it was like a little stage area in one of the corner of one of the end zones. And he was in there. And then they had a bunch of people, I don't know where they came from. They just showed up who were around the stage, but they weren't reacting. So they had to just be like in a section and someone was like, hey, you got to go over here. Nelly's having a concert. We need people who look hype. And then it was him and his hype man. And then I got nothing against Nelly. I was a big Nelly fan back in the day when I was a little youngin', but it was like one of those concerts where it wasn't you watching Nelly. It was you watching Nelly listen to other music. Like they play like Florida Georgia Line, and then it was just Nelly like listening to Florida Georgia Line with Nelly is what it turned into.
A night with Nelly is what it was. It wasn't It wasn't a Nelly performance. It was a night with Nelly.
A night with Nelly.
Dale, there was some other news, and while we're talking about that game, let's kick off with this one. Using next-gen stats ball tracking data, Justin Tucker's game-winning field goal crossed the upright with a Y-coordinate width field of 26.52. The exact middle of the field goal is 26.67. That is, if the uprights were half a yard wide, 1.5 feet, the kick would have still been good. They could have set up a 1.5 foot wide field goal if the center stayed the same, and Justin Tucker's kick still would have gone right down the middle. That's nuts.
That's wild. That is so wild. Look, that's Tucker right here.
From 46 yards away. That's insane. Like, I'm just thinking about from 46 yards away. That's how far it was, right?
Yeah. No, was that the last one? Because he had a 53 or 55 yarder earlier in the game.
Whatever. Any of those numbers, 1.5 yards. Like, it doesn't matter. You can make that number 30 yards. And I'm still sitting there thinking, like, a 1.5 foot window that you have to kick the ball through. Insane. Right. Insanity. We got Craig in the chat saying, you guys are the best and good morning. No, you're the best and good morning.
You are the best, sir.
And Tommy's saying, what a game, Jay.
What a game indeed. What a game indeed.
Great job. Great job last night, Joe. What a game.
Thanks. It was all me.
What a game. The NFC East is a collective 14-6 so far this season, and 3 of the losses are to itself. This comes to you from Benjamin Solak. NFC East, we thought it was a joke of a division, but they're 14-6, 14-3 against all other divisions so far. Joe, what do you make of this division? We've got the Cowboys sitting at 4-1 after beating the Rams. Eagles looking top tier as well. Commanders maybe a little bit better than we expected.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting powerhouse of a division that we've turned into over here in the East.
And I, you noticed I skipped. I shouldn't have skipped them. I just keep on disrespecting the Giants, also sitting at 4-1.
Also 4-1, yeah. Yeah, I was just about to bring them up because out of all these teams, Simon, if you're gonna put money on a single one, which one are you putting money on? Eagles.
To do what?
To win the division. What else would it be?
I'm just making sure to come in last. Like I could have done that as
eat
well.
34 hot dogs.
To eat 34 hot dogs. I got to go with the Cowboys. I'm imagining Jerry Jones gets in on this and he can guzzle some hot dogs. I'm sure of it.
I bet he just wets it and just slides it right on down. That's even chill.
I was perfect. That's exactly how I was picturing it. No bun. I'm just picturing him like taking a pack of hot dogs from the fridge. He doesn't cook them. He rips the plastic open with his fingers, so it stretches a little bit. There's no knife, and then he just takes the hot dogs.
Juice is going everywhere,
one by one, and he doesn't swallow. He just like pushes it down. Know what I mean? Like there is no swallowing action.
It's just a force.
Just a force down the throat, and he does it one hot dog at a time. That's how Jerry Jones eat hot dogs.
Yeah, he swallows it whole. That's disgusting.
We've got JL in the chat saying, "Can I become a Ravens fan? I just can't."
JL's ma. That's my ma.
JL's ma. Yeah, come on.
You can become a Ravens fan, 100%.
JL's ma. I see. I was reading that as Jilsma for a while.
Jilsma, I know. She let me know.
What's up, Jilsma? Welcome in.
Jilsma.
Yeah, Commanders fans. As we're talking about the NFC East, the Commanders are 1-4. They're the one team sitting down there at the bottom. But
bunch of dinguses.
To answer your actual question. If I had to put money on one team, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to put my money on the Eagles. They look fantastic so far this year.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm enjoying watching them, which I said this yesterday on the late show. It's like, it's odd, like liking the Eagles. Know what I mean? Not that I've disliked them. They're not a team that like I've hated, but they've never been one of those teams where I'm like, that's a very likable team. But it seems like with the players they have out there, like it's just a team that I'm rooting for. I don't know if it's like the underdog effect, like they're not expected. I think maybe it's Jalen Hurts, but this is a team that like I enjoy cheering for the Eagles this year, which I really haven't in the past.
Yeah, no, I've been hyped, especially since I was pumping them up all off season. Always feels good when those end up working out.
We talked about this on our morning show a little bit. Aaron Rodgers has thrown 502 touchdown passes in his career. Mercedes Lewis is the only former first-round pick to ever catch a touchdown pass from Rodgers. All of Rodgers' TD passes have gone to players drafted outside of round one. Yeah, they haven't done that dude any favors, but he's killed it anyways. But I think he's getting sick and tired of the way this offense is looking this year. We saw Randall Cobb with the 13 targets, and I think those were like 13 targets of pure frustration. Like
13 frustration targets.
It was like, I know Randall Cobb can do something good. I've won games with Randall Cobb before, and it was just like a point of emphasis to like get the ball to Randall Cobb.
If If anybody was to do that, it would be Aaron Rodgers. Not a doubt in my mind.
We talked about it yesterday on the Late Show, but did you see the quote from Aaron Rodgers? Something along the lines, but like he's going to consider retirement at the end of the season, depending on the development of the rookie wide receivers.
No.
Can you imagine being Romeo Doubs or Christian Watson, and he's out there saying like, well, depending on how they develop, I will or will not retire this year. I forget the exact wording, but like, what kind of confidence does that instill in your teammates?
None.
To come out and say something like that.
None.
It's funny. It's funny. If he does retire, those guys need to say for the rest of their lives, like as a point of fact, like I made Aaron Rodgers retire. Like I showed up, did my thing, and he said, I'm out of here. Got out of there.
Yeah. On me.
We had, unfortunately, quite a few injuries yesterday. Rashad Penny fractured his tibia. He's expected out for the season.
That poor dude.
I know. Every freaking year. I wish he could stay healthy. And this isn't like one of those injuries that gets re-aggravated. Know what I mean? You don't like aggravate your tibia unless there was a fracture sitting there that you made worse, right? Like this is just
you can't aggravate a pre-broken tibia.
Exactly. Like this is just sucks. Like this could happen to anybody. Rashad Penny was seeming like he was picking up some steam, but Kenneth Walker stepped in with Rashad Penny out, and it looks like he's going to be the starter for the rest of the season. So if you have Kenneth Walker, good signs for him. Hopefully Rashad Penny's able to heal up and get back out there next year. Pat Freiermuth
does.
I don't know. I bet he gets back out there on the NFL field. I don't know if we'll ever see him as a starting running back again. Like I just don't know if we'll see him get a starting role.
It was already just tough timing. They didn't renew his 5th-year option. And he was already, first-round draft pick, hadn't really produced up until last year, end of last year. So I just think it's a timing thing. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough.
Craig in here saying, depending on the development of Joey and Jay, JL may consider retirement from FYF after this season. Yeah, Joey and Jay, get your shit together. Or JL's out of here, and I'm following him. Pat Freiermuth suffered a concussion in this game. It was his 3rd in the last 12 months. And I've said this already. It's not what I'm calling for, but with 3 concussions in 12 months, like, I hope he's at least considering or talking to doctors about his like medical future whenever it comes to his brain health, right? Because having that many concussions in a short time frame is scary. Like it can have lifelong consequences. So hopefully he's getting cleared and checked out and considering the option that maybe like I wouldn't be shocked to see him retire is what I guess what I'm saying. I'm not calling for it, but like that amount of concussions in such a short time frame is so dangerous for the human brain. I hope he's taking it seriously, and it sounds like the NFL is starting to take concussions a little more seriously as well.
True.
But another one, Chris Olave, a concussion as well. He went down, hit his head.
I saw that one live.
Yeah,
I saw that one live.
God, and the camera just like pointed right into his, like you were looking into his eyes, and you could just see it again. Like every week for the past like 3 weeks, it's just these terrifying, scary hits, and take the camera off them. Like, know what I mean? Stop like showing these people that are clearly brain injured on TV. It's not a good look over there. And Tommy's saying, seems like way more concussions this year. Are we just more aware?
I think it has a lot to do with the media narrative. I feel like I'm sure somebody can fact check that and determine how many, if we are in fact at a higher rate, but I think the whole Tua thing just put it way more in the spotlight than it has been in the past.
It feels like more, but you're probably right, JL. Like it does feel like more. I feel like we've had more visible ones, like more where you see it on the field and you know it. Know what I mean? Like the really
you don't typically
ones.
get like a fencing position like we got with Tua. Yeah,
no,
that was pretty jarring.
Yeah. Damian Harris had a hamstring injury. Ramondre Stevenson came in and absolutely ate. There's no word on how severe that hamstring injury is, but we'll keep you guys updated. If he's going to be out for extended time, it's Ramondre Stevenson season. Teddy Bridgewater, in awful luck for the Dolphins on the first snap of the game, went down with a head and elbow injury. He passed concussion protocol, but was ruled out for the rest of the game due to the new rules that were passed this weekend. Christian Watson had a hamstring injury, and he has a history with soft tissue injuries. And then Drake London tweaked his ankle, but did not leave the game. So Drake London was able to come back in there. We'll keep an eye on that, though. Baker Mayfield, after that loss to the 49ers, was seen wearing a walking boot. They fell to 1-4 with their 37-15 loss. And Baker Mayfield was wearing that boot on his left foot during the press conference, as noted by multiple reporters. He said in his press conference that he had a left ankle injury and would get an MRI on it to determine its severity and his availability.
Is this a pride injury? Does this pride hurt?
Because we saw him, like we saw the hit that did it. Know what I mean? Like when he got up and started limping and he came off the field for a little bit and they said, I bet he'll be back. And he came back out. I think this is an actual injury. That being said, I'm sure his pride is injured as well. This has been a rough start to the season. Baker has not looked good. I mean, this offense has been bad. Matt Rule's been bad, but Baker also has been very bad, like just independently.
Yeah.
Not looking good. Not getting in sync with those receivers. So we had a couple nice passes yesterday dropped and a couple really bad passes as well. Odell Beckham Jr. is targeting a return in mid-November. The Green Bay Packers and Buffalo Bills are among teams interested. Dear God, don't put him on that Bills team. They're already so good.
That would be wild.
You know what? I take it back.
Like he would do it.
Do it. Put the Bills on. I now want just a super team. I want a team that like goes through the playoffs and wins every game by 40. Like where it's just a true NFL super team.
Bills fans would be insufferable.
You know what? If I had to pick one fan base to get to be insufferable about that, it might be the Bills team. I don't know. Who would you pick besides the Ravens?
I feel like Cardinals fans are pretty neutral. I don't care about them. I'm trying to think of another one that I'm Chargers fans. They're fine.
Yeah, those 11 guys would just be going nuts.
all 13 of them.
Off season. They would be going crazy.
Seahawks fans are just weird, man. Like that's where I live right outside that stadium for a summer, and they're just weird. There's nothing, I don't know that I would pick them, but I would not pick them either. I'd pick them if I want chaos.
I feel like it like perfectly, like the Seahawks fans I've met, it perfectly
it lines up. Yeah.
Seasonal depression plus mega fan meets that's Seattle Seahawks fans. Like they have all the qualities of a mega fan, but also all the qualities of someone that's lived under a cloud for the last 7 months. And like they're together into one. So it's kind of like a muted, slightly cynical super fandom is what it comes down to. And
it's a good way to describe it, but they're in neon. They're like, woo, neon.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like they'll wear whatever the hell you tell them to. Like violet or green. Okay. Yeah, I guess. We'll set on the inside, right on the outside.
Marshawn Lynch.
Is that what they just walk around saying?
Yep. Beast mode.
Beast mode. Just start walking into rooms screaming that.
Freaking Seattle fans.
Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Kenny Pickett called out the low hit after the loss. He said, I felt like Shaq Lawson went after my knee. Yeah, I know you felt like that. I saw you push him afterwards. Kenny Pickett got a little feisty in there, but I don't mind it. Know what I mean? I don't mind a quarterback getting a little spicy, but just know when it's Kenny Pickett versus Shaq Lawson, Kenny Pickett have some like personal responsibility, because when you do that, that is not a Kenny Pickett versus Shaq Lawson fight. You are starting a fight for your entire offensive line. Every single player on there, because you will not be finishing that altercation. Shaq Lawson is a big man, and you have tiny hands. I'm not even sure.
Little baby hands.
You couldn't even get him around his wrist. It would just be like a little bit right there. I like seeing the fire from Kenny Pickett, though. Just learn to control it a little bit, maybe. Don't pick those fights.
And be better.
He had a decent enough game. Know what I mean? Like he threw for over 300 yards. He had only one interception. Like it was fine. It was better than I expected from Kenny Pickett in his debut against the
Buffalo Bulldozers.
The Buffalo Bills. And if you switch the first letters, it's the Buffalo Bills.
The Buffalo Bills.
Can you even believe it?
Buffalo Bills Dozers.
The Bills Dozers?
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns have acquired linebacker Deion Jones in a trade with the Atlanta Falcons. A source told ESPN on Sunday night. The teams agreed to swap late-round picks in the 2024 draft. Jones made the Pro Bowl in 2017, should help bolster Cleveland's linebacking core, which has struggled since losing Anthony Walker to a season-ending quad tear in Week 2. Yeah, they have struggled. Who's this guy?
Oh!
Ah!
Well, howdy. I can't hear you.
It takes a minute for his vocal cords to warm up is what happens over here.
Testing.
We hear you coming in loud and clear.
Good morning, everyone. How are we doing?
Good morning.
What's up,
Doing
Coop?
fantastic.
We're talking some Deion James. How do you feel about him?
Browns.
Yeah, he just got traded. Or I said James, I meant Jones. He got traded from the Falcons to the Browns.
Yes,
they swapped late round picks over there. Yeah, well, that Browns defense needs to do something. This is a unit that was expected to be decent, and they've been absolutely terrible. So I guess they're making decent moves, doing something instead of just
Craig goes, IDP news? What show is this? Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. Welcome in.
I remember that when we were talking with D.O. Ledbetter, our boy Jordan Loop, also an IDP guy, was interested in hearing what was going on with Deion Jones. Definitely some sort of off-field stuff was going on with him, right? Like he wasn't happy with his contract. So, new landing spot. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
See what happens. Absolutely. Coop, I have to ask you something. You missed that first part of the show. And yesterday, also on our morning show, I got put in my place a little bit from by Scott Engel. And the reasoning was I talked about these Giants, and I'm in full-on disrespect mode. They're 4-1, but I just don't buy it that they're a good team. Scott Engel dropped some Bill Parcells on me and said, you are what your record says you are. And it's hard to argue with that. But what do you think about these New York Giants? The NFC East as a whole outperforming expectations.
First of all, Scott Engel, legend. So
Legend.
Right there, kind of tough. You're going up against a brick wall there, dude. Dude, the Giants are 4-1. That is that is ridiculous. I mean, honestly, that tells me Daniel Jones is amazing. Like everyone knows that.
Yeah, we need that from the start.
Everyone knows that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, okay, let's play a game right now. What do you think the Giants finish as? 4-1.
4-1.
What's their final record?
How many
4
games
and 13
left? Yeah, that's what
but seriously though, seriously, I would say they go 4-13 before I say they go 16-1.
Well,
yeah, that would be wild. That would be truly wild that they did that. That's a sick
no
thing.
wide receivers, dude.
That's a JL hot take right there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see what my preseason predictions were for the New York Giants. I've got it over here somewhere. My preseason predictions were 4-13, so it's still in play, baby.
Still alive, dude. Yeah,
I'm sticking with it.
That's crazy.
4-13. I think they finished 9 and whatever.
9 and 8.
I'll give them 17.
And I'll give them the inverse. I'll give them 8 and 9. JL, you give them 9 and 8. I'll give them 8 and 9.
This team could easily win 10 games. No, what's the rest of the schedule look like? My God,
they got the Ravens next week. JL, you scared the 4-1 Giants coming to town, or maybe you're going to town. I'm not sure.
There are only 6 losses in the entire NFC East right now.
The wagon rolling into town.
East.
Yeah,
the Giant wagon rolling up. Dude, they play the Texans, Lions. I mean, this team could win some more games.
This team could win some more games.
I loved the Saquon Barkley interview afterwards. He was like, what are your expectations for this team? And it was very clear the reporter was asking, this team's supposed to suck. How the hell are you 4-1? Like that was basically what they said, but they just mixed it around. And Saquon wasn't shy about it. He was like, yeah, we're real gritty. Like this is a real gritty team is the word that he used. Full of gritty players. Like, of course we can pull these wins out.
I love how the AFC West, we all thought those teams would be amazing. And most of those teams have 1 win, 2, 3. Like the Raiders are 1-3. And then the NFC East, Eagles are undefeated, right?
2 4-1 teams.
Cowboys are winning. Cowboys are 4-1. Yeah, ridiculous, dude. That's football, baby.
Dude, the Commanders are really bringing down the division.
Losers.
Carson Wentz. Oh, also, I realized it's not. I mistook who my quarterback mortal enemy was. I think Coop. And because he threw a pass this weekend, I think it qualifies. We can put him back in that conversation, and that's Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill. That's my mortal enemy.
So annoying, dude. It's people are like, where do you rank him among tight ends? I'm like, well, he has 2 receiving yards on the season. so let me check my spreadsheet, see where he's going to be ranked. He has 1 target. I'm just like, I don't know, man. I really don't know. But honestly, you got to – now I'm going to start considering him. It's like – my rankings go like this, to be honest. It goes high floor, high ceiling tight ends. And then I go medium floor, like medium or low floor, high ceiling. That's why I always have like the guys like Waller and all those guys ranked ahead of Higbee and Tyler Conklin, because I skip those like medium ceiling guys. Then it goes medium ceiling guys. Then it goes touchdown dependent guys. He probably has to go with or above the touchdown dependent tight ends in the rankings, right? Like, because he's scoring a touchdown every week now, like at least one. So I think I might have to put him. I'm gonna put him in the rankings, and he's going to go with those guys.
We don't have to talk about Taysom Hill too much longer, but I'm with you, Coop. Like you got to consider him, but I just know I can't start him. The second I do it, he's not going to score a touchdown. It's just not going to work.
You got to do it for the rest of us.
I've never had success with Taysom Hill.
You got to put him. You got to put him down. You got to put him down for the rest of us, man. You have to shut that down. I start him in your lineups.
No, if I just disparage him and say he won't do it every week, then we'll see him come out and do it. I publicly disparaged him on Sunday morning, 4 touchdowns. It's
and half PPR. Here's his game logs. Week 1, 14.8 points. Week 2, 1.4 points. Week 3, nothing. Week 4, 8.1 points. Week 5, 34.08 points.
Dude, I don't know why you have to say half PPR. He has 0 receptions. It's the same score in every format. Yeah, right? Like he has 1 reception for 2 yards. Like it's the same score every format. Out of control.
So true. He's 32 years old. Man, I didn't know he was so old.
Dude, he is unicorn, that fella.
Only been in the league for 5 years. So unicorn. He came in at 27.
He's an old 32. I guess.
Basically Adam Thielen. He's like Wes Welker.
Didn't play. Like other old guys.
Didn't play till he was 27.
He's like my grandfather if he was in the NFL and alive. That's who he's like. Oh. Just like that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That guy drives me nuts. Just a good football player. What are you gonna do?
What are you
gonna do? Everyone watching, we got some exciting news for today. At 11 a.m. Eastern time today, we are giving away a full-size authentic NFL helmet autographed by New York Giants legend Lawrence Taylor later today on Bettor Sports Network. During Moose and Keith this morning at 11 Eastern time is when we're going to be giving it away. So make sure you're listening in for your chance to win. To be eligible, all you need to do is download the free Bettor Sports Network app, listen live today at 11, and smash that fun button.
Smash.
Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network.
Bettor Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
You can't be happy if you're a fan of Denver right now. I know they're 2-1. They look horrendous, man.
Well, how about this player? I almost put him in, and then last second took him out, figured I'd give him another week. What about Javonte Williams? Would he be a trend down type of player at this point? He's still getting the carries. He's running all right. He's just not scoring. That's the problem. And the big thing is when you look at his production from a total basis, 11 passes week 1? It was a lot.
I think you stay the course with him. I know, again, people are so frustrated. Guys, why are you surprised, man? We all know Javonte Williams is the best player in that backfield. It's clear. But people who play fantasy need to understand and I said this before the year, there are certain players that coaches love. Melvin Gordon is one of those players. Is he as dynamic, explosive? No. But he does a lot of the little things that coaches love. Those guys are going to get their touches. You have to understand that. So should Javonte Williams be the main back? Yeah. And we've started to see it shift a little bit. I know you're frustrated because Gordon got the touchdown, but I don't know why you're surprised by this. They told you this before the year. It was more like 50-50 last year. It's not now. You can't sit here and complain about it. Like, you act like this came out of nowhere. I can't believe Melvin Gordon is playing snaps.
You're not talking about me, are you?
No. Anyone who is sitting there and is just stunned that Javonte Williams is not getting, like, all these snaps. Now, could it get better as the season goes along and they start to go, you know what? Javonte's more explosive. We need him on the field now. I mean, they're 2-1, okay? So that's the problem with some of these teams that win games. They think, oh, we won, so everything is good. But let's look at the snaps. So Javonte Williams played 33. Melvin Gordon played 28. The biggest problem is Mike Boone played 14. That I don't get. Javonte Williams and Gordon each ran 13 routes. Boone, 11. 5 targets for Williams, 6 for Melvin Gordon. Javonte had 15 carries, Gordon 12. Javonte Williams had 20 looks. So he had 15 carries, 5 targets, and he caught 3 passes. So he had 18 touches. You're going to complain about a running back getting 18 touches? Come on, man. He's better than Melvin Gordon, no doubt. But Javonte's not getting 35 touches. They had the ball a lot last night. Does it suck that they took him out near the goal line? Absolutely.
Straight eye formation. They hand it up to Gordon, running left. Gordon into the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
This is not anything shocking here.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. We got Craig in the chat saying, forget calling him Daddy. Taysom Hill is the FYF Morning Show Grandpappy. Grandpappy.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill, Grandpappy. It gets deeper and deeper and deeper as we go on.
Grandpappy.
That reminds me, my favorite announcer moment of all time happened yesterday on the second Gabriel Davis long touchdown. The announcer just like in the middle of it, he was like, "Oh, that was a man of a catch." Like he's just going on. He's like, "Gabriel Davis said, get over here." Like, and he just went like full monster voice and then said like, and I kept trying to capture it in a tweet, but I couldn't quite get it. Like no emoji captured the deep voice that he went down into, but all of a sudden he was like, "And get over here." It was like,
Get over here.
He was doing the is that Mortal Kombat? The get over here.
What
Like
is it?
Scorpion. I think you might be doing the Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Get over here.
Whatever it was awesome. It was so great in that moment. We got some get over here. That is Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, says Craig. So they must have been doing a Cordal Mombat.
Cordal Mombat. Yeah. Portal, the Portal Wombat.
Portal Bombat.
Can you imagine what if Mortal Mombat was a game? It was like Mortal Kombat, but it was all just like mom stereotypes. Like you've got like the soccered mom, the disheveled mom at the park of 5 kids. You've got like the business mom who like beat you with her stilettos, like
Scorpion mom.
Scorpion mom. Yeah, you're of course the stereotype.
Naturally.
The assassin mother. Yeah, that's one that we always have.
Albert say, was that Tony Romo?
Was that Tony Romo? I don't know. I can't remember who it was. I bet it was Tony Romo. That sounds very Romo-esque.
Also, good morning, Albert.
And Tommy's saying that was Romo. Yeah, 100% that was Romo. Nice call on that one, Albert.
Dude, Romo would be such a Mortal Kombat bro. A Cordal Mombat bro.
Oh, he would play the heck out of some Cordal Mombat.
Three for 171 and 2 touchdowns. Like
Tony Romo?
Yeah, Tony Romo.
This weekend? That's incredible.
He's back, baby.
He's back.
Who was 3 for 171 and 2 touchdowns?
Gabriel Davis.
57
yards of reception. Classic.
That's insane. That's truly
classic
insane.
college stat line, right?
That's Gabriel Davis though, right? Like that's what I see people saying like he's back. Like he's back. No, he never left, like except when he was injured. Then he did leave. But like
in that case, yes, he did leave.
This is just as much a Gabriel Davis game as 2 targets, 0 catches, 0 points is a Gabriel Davis game in my mind. That's not taken away from him. He will probably finish the season very well as a wide receiver too. And if he's on my fantasy teams, I'm starting him every single week because he can do this. You're not going to get this every week though. You're going to get some stinkers. Coop, you agree, or you think maybe we'll see more consistency from him? Especially with Isaiah McKenzie going on or being injured.
I think he's the best ball legend, probably in the new Adam Thielen, or the young Adam Thielen plus, right? I mean, you look at the game log, it's like just 2 weeks ago, he had 6 for, this week he had 6 targets, caught 3 of them, had 171 yards and 2 touchdowns. A couple weeks ago, he had 6 targets, caught 3 of them, had 37 yards, right? He played 96.
5.2 fantasy points.
Yeah, like that's this guy. I mean, but now that he's done it, now that he showed you what he could do, he's already showed you what he could do the first week when he had 4 for 88 and a touchdown. So you have to give him in your lineup, right? You just bite that bullet and hope that he has a game like this, because at any given time he can score 2 touchdowns. He's that guy.
God, and those passes from Josh Allen, like
Too good.
Hot pasta.
God, he's so good. I was watching that game just like if I were to get aroused by football, it would be watching this man play. Like it was just beautiful watching him in the first half. Like it was so much fun seeing a quarterback play like that. 350 yards passing in the first half. It was absurd. And then some of those long passes to Gabriel Davis were just freaking dimes, like perfectly placed. That second one especially. Josh Allen
said, "What do you mean if?"
Tommy had a fun Sunday.
I wish the Steelers would just be better, dude. Like, come on, because that could have been an all-time game for Josh Allen, but they didn't need to keep doing it. You know,
for the first time in my life, I started cheering for the Steelers around like the end of the second quarter. I was like, okay, do something.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Poking him with a stick. It's like that meme where it's like the dude poking it with a stick. It's like, do something.
Do something. You guys know Gabe Davis is only 23 years old? My God.
Yeah.
That's pretty young. Man.
That's young.
Man, I feel like it was just yesterday where like I was the same age as most of these NFL players like, coming out now, and like these people coming out, and I'm like, oh God.
Now I'm like a full college 4 years.
I'm retired.
Thank God for Tom Brady, dude.
Right? Tom Brady keeping us all young over here.
I'm like, I still got it.
Keeping us humble. I still got it. I'm not that guy.
Like we're old enough that even if we were NFL players, like let's make it an upside down world, we probably wouldn't be anymore. Know what I mean? Like we're of the age where most
Von Dix is still there,
right? But most players, I feel like, don't make it to age 28, 29.
It'll be Randall Cobb out. Randall Cobb, dude.
I'd be freaking a fullback probably.
That's
you'd be Kyle Juszczyk.
I'd be the Ricard.
You'd be Patrick Ricard.
Yeah, Patrick Ricard.
Patrick Ricard, way too good, dude.
He's so good.
You'd be like
you'd be like
Jakob Johnson.
I don't know who that is.
He's on the Raiders.
Coop, if you could play any position, what would it be? Like you have the skill set, you get to play a position. What looks like the most fun to you?
I mean, most fun or least contact.
Don't pick tight end.
Take into account whatever.
Don't pick tight end. Don't do it.
Punter for sure, dude. Because worst case with punter, people are like, oh man, you know, like with and you're not. There's not a whole lot of.
He said worst cases, people are like, oh man.
You can't really be that disappointed. It's not like a field goal, right? Like no one ever had a game-losing punt, really.
Yeah.
You know, except for the Giants in the Miracle of the Meadowlands. But I mean, that was still a pretty good punt, right? So like, you know, like that's a nice one. You go out there, you know, you can only blow it so bad, right? You have a bad punt, never lasts for like 1 second. Or I guess you butt punt your teammate. That could be the worst case scenario.
Yeah,
it depends on
I guess that is that's like a pretty traumatic punting event.
You butt punt Trent Sherfield, but then again, like that's all. Everyone's laughing at Trent. Like I didn't.
Yeah, everyone's laughing at him.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe your relationship with Trent grew a little bit that day. You know what I mean? Like maybe this is.
Maybe it got worse.
Maybe it got worse.
Yeah,
maybe there ways to trust.
Probably worse.
It's going to go one of two ways, right? You kick a football up someone's butthole. It's going to either increase that relationship or really decrease it. Like you're either going to get a lot closer or a lot more contentious.
What position? What position would you guys pick? Because I just picked like a no pressure $1 million job.
Yeah.
If I get to determine the skill set, I think I want to be like a true backup level of quarterback, like the Alex Moran from Blue Mountain State. Like just like when they joke about it being the best job, I really do think it's the best job in the NFL, right? Like, and then here's what would happen. All the hope would be like, oh, here comes the backup quarterback, no expectations. I'd get injured on the first play. Without a doubt in my mind, I'd get hurt out there on the football field on the first play. And then I'm just hurt on the sideline. We're good to go.
Be Teddy Bridgewater. Be Charlie Batch. They play like
Charlie
15 years. Not 15 years and play like 20 snaps.
I think the actual answer is long snapper. I think that would be such a cool skill set to have. It'd be fun to be the long snapper. You're probably taking a couple hits, but then you get to go out there during those high pressure situations as well. But you're not the one that all the attention's on.
Nobody knows your name until you roll one. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like there's like a cult following of long snappers. You know what I mean? Like people love long snappers.
Dude, I don't know what it is, but during the offseason, the moment a long snapper signs like a 1-year deal, 3,000 upvotes. The Reddit is there's something about Reddit where they just love long snappers.
They got a big wide receiver. There's so many different levels of wide receiver you could be. It's all glory.
Good.
There it is. Bad. It is all glory, really. That is the number one diva position, right?
Yeah, 100%. I'm a diva.
You'd be a huge diva, dude. Doing crunches in the driveway. Reporters 100%. Can't ask you nothing.
No. You got to take some cryptic tweet lessons from Stephon Diggs before you become a wide receiver.
I got it.
Then you can get out there.
JL
does like butter. Never
does
felt my soul so bad.
Yeah, you kind of do. You kind of do send cryptic tweets.
I do sometimes.
Yeah, you do. You mix the cryptic tweet, and you would make a good wide receiver.
What are we making of this Buffalo rushing attack? Devin Singletary had the most carries of all the running backs, but not much. They didn't really have to run the ball. 6 carries for 42 yards. James Cook had 4 for 31 and a touchdown. Zach Moss getting 1 carry. Josh Allen tying Devin Singletary's rushing yards total at 42 with only 5 carries. It seemed like this was a slam dunk start for Singletary, but it didn't work out. JL, what are you doing with these running backs? What's the deal? What's the deal with the Buffalo running backs?
Thank you, Jerry.
With the airline food.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that question, Jerry.
Yes.
Yeah, the running backs on the Buffalo Bills side is what you're asking about, and I'm not worried. This is a game script type of situation. None of the running backs really got a massive workload here. James Cook, who had the best game, did it on 4 carries. So this is a situation where they're not gonna. This Buffalo team hasn't really been at least in recent history, a rushing offense. So I think you're going to get games like this.
Yeah. Coop, are you worried, or is Singletary still a weekly start for you?
I'm starting him every single week just because he's still leading the league in routes run, right? And he's top 5 running back in receptions, which nobody predicted, but it's happening. So got to get that guy in your lineup. Like, he's playing a ton of snaps. Super megastar.
Super megastar.
super omega star.
He's
what I
heard. That's a good argument. Is just like super megastar.
But he's an alpha omega star. One down week doesn't take away from the usage that he's had, which has been phenomenal.
Yeah. Tommy in here saying fantasy mess. I think Singletary will still come out as the clear fantasy option in this backfield.
Fantasy mess and alpha omega star.
Alpha omega star.
I see Ladarius in the chat saying, "Good morning, guys. Hope all is well." Good morning, Ladarius. Welcome.
What up, Ladarius? Hey, welcome in,
LJ.
And before we move on to our next game, we had a question here from Albert. Albert wanted to know, what are you guys doing with the Jaguars running backs? So they both had 10 carries. This past weekend, Travis Etienne 10 was a little bit more efficient with them than James Robinson as well. Is this going to be a split backfield? Are we seeing the changing of the guard, or was this just a game where they wanted to get Etienne more involved?
This is business as usual. This is what we've been seeing, is this split. We knew that this was probably going to happen, right? Travis Etienne was going to have better games than James Robinson going forward. And I think this is what you got to expect. You got to expect each of these guys to have some games are going to be James Robinson games. Some games are going to be Travis Etienne games. Some games they're both going to do well.
Some games neither.
Scalding take from JL. Some games. Yeah. But I mean, you are right, though. It's like when you're the owner, when you're the GM and you spend a 1st-round pick, I know that they have since kind of shaken things up, but it's still the same owner. It's still Rashad. So like, they look at that and they want to see it. They want to see the return. So 1st-round picks naturally are going to get, a better look, right? It's like if you're a 5th-round pick and you're not really doing much, then it's easy to put you on the back burner. But Etienne was always going to be part of this game plan, and we're seeing it with these with the game scripts, right? When they're either even or playing from behind and they need to pass, it's Etienne. So there's going to be a lot more of these games coming.
Yeah. And I just wanted to add on to what JL said. Like, at the end of the season, whenever we're looking back at this, Travis Etienne is either going to have scored more or less or exactly the same amount of points as James Robinson. Like, it's just one of those 3 outcomes is what we're going to be looking at.
Facts.
So,
true.
Yeah, JL, I thought you had a great point. Just wanted to add that little bit on there from the research I've done as well. Yeah, you're welcome. Trevor Lawrence.
I think you covered it all there. I got to say. Pretty strong.
I covered all the fantasy. Just plug in Alpha Omega Star instead of Travis Etienne, and that should cover most players.
He played 10 more snaps than James Robinson. Changing of the guard. Now's the time to go out and trade for him. Like I said it before this week, but it's, you still
I said it before Coop.
And you said it before me, and you can still you can get away with it though. Still, I think. I don't think Breece Hall and Travis Etienne, it's kind of switching up, and you can still go and get those guys before people realize what's happening.
Yeah, we had this question yesterday. Breece Hall or Najee Harris rest of the season?
Too spicy. That's too spicy, bro. It's too spicy.
Give me Najee.
Got to be Najee.
Give me Breece. I am nervous. I think we're seeing Breece take over this backfield. I am nervous about Najee in that offensive line. We've been nervous, right? This Bills game didn't necessarily change my opinion on Najee. He wasn't a factor in it, but we figured that he wasn't necessarily going to be. But Breece looks like the real deal. He looks great out there.
Did you see that Jalen Warren technically played more snaps than Najee this week?
That's wild. That's insane.
Yeah, because that game was done. That game was over. That's why.
Yeah.
Way over.
They went down quick.
Why put your star running back in if you're down by freaking 35 points?
Yeah, behind one of the worst offensive lines in the league with one of the best defensive lines on the other side of the ball. Just let Najee have the day off in that one. In this Texans-Jaguars game, besides ETN and James Robinson, there really wasn't too much going on for the Jacksonville Jaguars. No touchdown scored for the Jaguars.
Whoa. First of all, how dare you? Second of all, Evan Ingram, 10 targets.
I was seeing if we could just gloss right over to the Texans. See if I could sneak one past you.
How many yards?
Tell us about your boy Evan Ingram, Coop.
He had a naughty number of yards. He had 10 targets. Last target, he was open. I'm just saying. Great play by the defender there, but that would have been a 100-yard game. A little better pass. Evan Ingram, he's the thing. It's happening. And the way I look at it now that we have five games, he's got 2 good games. Then he's got the game where he got eaten alive by Derwin James. Then he played in the Hurricane, and now he's back. Science, math, move him up.
Eaten alive by Derwin James and then a Hurricane are very similar effects on a player. Like that Derwin James is a freaking hurricane for opposing tight ends. So scary.
He's mean to me and my friends. My tight end friends.
Of 2 of your favorite offseason targets, Coop, David Njoku and Evan Ingram, both had good weeks this week. Both look like they're part of this offense. Which one, if you had to pick one rest of the season, who would you rather have on your roster?
I think I would take David Njoku just because he seems to be the clear second target on the team. I mean, this week he survived Hurricane James, Hurricane Derwin James himself. I thought that he could be in trouble this week. 6 targets, not too bad, but he caught all of them. So Njoku is he's live right now. If he can catch 6 targets against this team, right, against the Derwin James and the Chargers, then you got to give him your lineup wherever you have him.
Yeah, exactly. Someone asked about him yesterday, and I said, congratulations, you have a starter for the rest of the season. Like you're good to go. That was the goal in drafting him late, and it worked out. It worked out for you. So nice work on that one over there. Marvin Jones had 11 targets, 7 receptions, and 104 yards in this game as well. Christian Kirk, not really a factor. 3 targets, 1 reception, 11 yards. What's going on with Christian Kirk? Was he injured? Was he just not playing? Was the game script not going to him? Is he going to still be the one on this offense? That makes you nervous, right? When you see Marvin Jones with 11 targets and Christian Kirk with 3.
I mean,
yeah, I think that puts him in this not must start category that we were really, classifying him as in this first part of the season. We got to recognize that Christian Kirk probably isn't going to be that consistent guy. Why do you guys think that? What's changed for Christian Kirk?
His underpants, probably.
I hope.
Yeah. He just played 72 of 75 snaps and caught 1 pass. That's all exercise team stuff right there. Last week, how many targets did he get before he caught 1? 5, 6? He was 0 for 5 to start
2 receptions on 9 targets last week.
Yeah, and it started off ugly. I know for a fact he went at least 5 without catching 1. I think it could have been 6, but I remember looking at it and saying he has 5 targets and no catches. What is happening? So I don't know. I think Christian Kirk, just given the usage, I mean, you got to get him in there. I think this one was just a down game, but it's also not like the Texans have any shutdown corners. I mean, can you name, without looking, can you name a single player on the Texans defense?
Yes.
I used to.
What?
No, he's on the
Cardinals.
He used to be.
He used to be. Yeah,
I was trying to sneak one past you.
Yeah, I know that. The only one I can think of
he's on that team
is
anymore.
the rookie they drafted, Jalen Petrie. Like I can't even think. Derek Stingley. There you go.
Derek Stingley.
But that's crazy though. It's like we talk about football every single day, and this defense is just a bunch of guys that like. Who cares? I mean, I'm sure Jordan Loop and Craig could name a bunch, but they're weirdos. So
DJ Reader's on the Bengals now.
That's
right, because he was in the game last night.
There you go.
Jordan
Gruger Hill.
Kamu Gruger Hill.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We got another one from him.
Linebacker.
Christian
Kirksey. Okay. Well, now that you're saying them, Loop, it rings a bell.
Yeah, now it's so much easier. Now that you're just saying them, it's pretty easy. Steven Nelson. Let's just spend the rest of the day naming Texans defenders. I think that sounds fun. On the Texans side of the ball, Damian Pierce looks good. He looks like a good running back. You probably want to start him every week going forward. He probably
Eli Apple on the Texans.
No, but maybe.
I don't think his mommy let him go to the Texans, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Really, it's a mommy thing.
She wouldn't let him go, if I remember correctly. Wasn't he the one with the really overbearing mother during the draft process? Like, isn't that the thing that happened with Eli Apple, or am I making that up?
I don't remember when he was.
I'm not sure, but I like to think that that's true.
Yeah, I like the story that you've told us.
Yeah, historically, like I always, no matter what, side with rumors. Like every rumor,
they're always more fun.
Every rumor is true until proven false, especially ones that I think are funny.
Oh wow, yeah. These his half brother does not have nice things to say about Eli's mother. About Eli Apple's mother over there. And Albert letting us know Eli Apple is still with the Bengals. Nice job, JL, pulling that one out. You follow Eli Apple all the time? You just know where he is?
Yeah.
He's your favorite NFL player. What do you guys think about Damian Pierce, though? RB2 rest of the season? How are you viewing him?
Yeah. I mean, good running back on a bad team. Sounds like the formula for RB2.
Right? Yeah. There's not that much ceiling because of that, but he's getting the work. 26 carries. You can't argue with that. Rex Burkhead not stealing anything from him. Just getting in there on some passing.
The Texans are using they won this week, but they're using the Jaguars school of just hand it to your running back a million times while you lose. Like the James Robinson year where they were like kind of losing on purpose, but they still gave James Robinson like 20 to 30 carries. Kind of love that for fantasy.
I wish the Bills would have taken that approach with winning.
Yeah,
then they would just pass it, give it to the running backs. They just didn't do that yesterday.
Are the Texans going to pick first overall next year?
Probably.
Yeah, that pesky tie, dude. That's what did the Lions in last year, right? Lose. They won the fewest games, but that tie is the reason they had the second pick instead of the first. So it could come down to that stupid tie.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Raider. Hey, Tommy, the Raiders are going to get the first pick.
Sucker.
No, they're not.
How you like them tomatoes?
The worst part is they're going to miss the playoffs and get like the 11th pick.
They're playing the Chiefs this week. The Raiders about to be 1-4, and the Giants are 4-1.
Sorry, I can't tell if he's saying he's dead with those emojis or if he's doing a go Raiders with those emojis. Maybe it could be both.
I think the middle one is the go Raiders, but the other two are dead. Yeah, tomato, eat it, Coop. Yeah, the Broncos aren't any better. I can't believe I'm about to eat a stupid tomato, man.
No, he said ear it, Coop. You got to shove a tomato in your ear.
Yeah, shove it in your ear. Bro.
I would rather put it in my ear than my mouth, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of tomatoes. They're they're a bottom tier fruit.
I will say, if you like a very ripe, perfect tomato with a BLT, awesome. But eating it like an apple, hand fruit on this show,
disgusting,
dude.
Disgusting.
Go Broncos, go Broncos, baby. Let's ride. We need to ride. Like, I don't want to eat that tomato. Let's ride, please.
We had a question in here from Mark. Mark wanted to know, do you think Jamar Chase will become the top 4 receiver that I drafted? So a little bit disappointing so far. JL, what are you thinking about Jamar Chase after 5 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, his offensive line is giving the Bengals some trouble. It's certainly limiting the upside of these guys, but Jamar Chase has been, consistent. He's been consistent for you. He hasn't given you the top 5 upside that you've wanted, except for maybe week 1. I think you might have finished close to that. Wide receiver 13 in PPR leagues. Yeah, I think he'll be fine. You're always going to get fluctuations with wide receivers, and I don't draft wide receivers based off of where I think they're going to finish, but you're drafting based off the probability of their likelihood they're going to produce for you. So Jamar Chase, I think he'll continue to be the guy that you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm not mad at top 12 after 4 weeks or 5 weeks, right? Like he's still a top 12 wide receiver, and he has the upside to go up there. It depends on the format. I'm looking at PPR. He's number 12 right now.
I'm 13 in PPR.
Guess what percentage of snaps he played this week?
What percent?
Take a guess.
100.
I was at the game. I don't know, like 90.
You lose.
It was 100.
It was 100.
Damn.
JL 0 points. Simon all the points.
Super Omega Alpha Star.
And when Super Omega Zeta Star. And if I think T Higgins being out there helps him, because then you can't just key on him. So I think when Higgins gets back, it's going to be back to business as usual.
Yeah, it makes sense.
He wasn't even in there. He was there. He just didn't get targeted. And see him once.
Higgins only played he definitely got banged up there because he didn't play much.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I think he only played like 10 snaps. I've been looking for the info on what happened there. Anyone in the chat knows. But yeah, he only played 10 snaps.
Yes, big old skunk for
ankle injury. Yeah,
absolutely. Guys, coming up, we're going to keep on breaking down these week 5 live. I forgot what week it was. Week 5 games for you. We're going to play a little bit of Fantasy Detective, preview some Monday Night Football. And then our friend Juan Carlos Blanco is coming on the show a little bit later today as well to talk some Monday Night Football. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Bettor Sports Network.
Surely. Kickers never retire, I think. They just continue playing for all eternity. Like, there's only ever been 30 NFL kickers.
Yeah, they're always readily available too, it seems. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just get called up. They're like, you kicked for us 10 years ago, right? Why don't you
run it back? Let's run.
I imagine every single kicker that gets the call is on a high school football field somewhere just practicing field goals after hours. Like it's like 9 p.m. and they're out there just in the local high school kicking field goals, and the phone rings. They get the call and they're like, yeah, I'm ready. I've been practicing for this.
I have an amazing kicker story if you guys have a second.
I got a couple.
The number 1 all-time field goal kicker is Adam Vinatieri. The next 2 guys are Morton and Gary Anderson, right? Gary Anderson was a dude from like South Africa that just played rugby and soccer. He just could absolutely boot the ball, right? They bring him over and he does like a tryout and he's just absolutely crushing the ball. And all these colleges are like, dude, we want you to come kick field goals for us. And he goes, I don't even want to play football. He goes, I want to play soccer. He goes, I want to play soccer. He goes, so if I can come to your school and play soccer, I'll also, in the fall, I'll kick for the football team. And Syracuse was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, you're on the soccer team. Like, come on. And he went to Syracuse to play soccer, but also kick field goals. And then he ended up being a top 3 point scorer in the NFL all the time.
That's ridiculous.
And his answer to recruiters was, I don't want to play football. I'll do it in my spare time.
Yeah. He's like, you got a spot for me on the soccer team. Syracuse is like, yeah, we got a spot for you.
We don't even care about our soccer team.
We don't even care.
We totally have that spot.
Right? They had to like cobble together a soccer team. Like, this guy's the captain.
Oh my God. It's like Accepted, the movie, but they just like had to throw together a whole fake soccer team.
Somehow they still got Justin Long.
Right, yeah. Like, Adam Sandler's the coach. And dude, imagine they win the national championship. Like, that's a movie, dog. Yeah.
Boom!
Someone call up Disney. Yeah, we just wrote a movie for you, Disney. This has Disney sports movie written all over. I'm borderline crying right here just thinking about this movie right now.
Dude, the story gets even crazier. Like I should have looked it up again, but like it was like a high school coach that went and found him, and then that high school coach ended up being somebody crazy famous that like coached for the Rams.
Stay tuned for sports. Talk about your picks, your fantasy teams, and your sports collectibles on Bettor Sports Network.
Welcome back in, everyone, to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. We are talking Week 5 matchups. We were talking a little bit about Jamar Chase in this Bengals-Ravens game, but we had some questions come in the chat. One regarding Mr. Dalton Schultz that I wanted to hit. Lucius had a question for us, said, what is going on with Dalton Schultz? Is Dak going to improve him when he gets back? Coop, you always say when we got guests on, you go, I'm a big tight end guy, so I got to ask.
Big
Coop,
tight end guy.
You're a big tight end guy, so I got to ask, what's going on with Dalton Schultz?
I mean, he's playing so last week he played a big snap share. This week he didn't play. I think he might have re-aggravated the PCL injury because he only played, I want to say he pulled a T. Higgins, played 10 snaps. I think that's what I saw. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying I think. It'll take me 2 seconds to actually pull it up. JL, what do you think while I actually pull up the information and we provide the actual information to our listeners?
Well, while we pull that information up, I'll tell you guys what I think. And here's what I think about
10 snaps.
10 snaps.
That was really good.
Thanks for covering, JL.
Thank God. Thank God.
Nice take, dude.
You
Yeah.
almost had to give an analysis,
I'm not thinking of anything.
So there you go. There's the answer on Dalton
Not a
Schultz.
single thought going through his head.
I thought for sure you were going to be like gabagool, lasagna.
So JJ Zachariason said it best on Dalton Schultz this offseason on Twitter. He basically said,
boogity.
what is there to like about, he said, oogity boogity. And I was like, you know what?
Yes.
You're making a lot of sense. So he said, what is it about Dalton Schultz that we like besides the opportunity? And no one had an answer because he's not particularly fast. He doesn't really break tackles. He's not good versus man-to-man. He's not good in the red area.
He also just kind of seems like a punk.
Right. He's a jerk. No, he
feels like personally, I don't like him either.
seems like a decent enough guy. But there's nothing to like about him besides the opportunity. And it almost seemed like he pulled a Robert Tonyan, like a 2020 Robert Tonyan, where his best attribute was that teams would forget about him, right? Because they had Amari Cooper, they had CeeDee Lamb, and he was just, according to Pro Football Focus last year, more of his catches were uncovered than he had versus man-to-man. That's telling you that he's kind of a ancillary piece, in my opinion. The best guys, and especially the most successful in the red zone, are guys that win in man-to-man. And Dalton Schultz had most of his catches came versus zone, and he actually had more uncovered receptions than man-to-man receptions. So that's the guy you have here. And if he's also going to be hurt, you gotta make other plans.
Yeah.
Another tight end comment down here. Fantasy Doc saying it's a sad fantasy day for any manager that doesn't roster Taysom Hill.
No.
I got a feeling I'll be seeing a lot of him in the playoffs.
Yeah, I have 1,000 Reddit notifications being like, Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill.
The first one was like, okay, you know what? The first touchdown, I was like, this is Taysom Hill. This is what he does, right? He's going to get that touchdown, but we'll be able to say oh, but he only played 8 snaps. You can't start it. And then he got another one.
Second touchdown is Taysom Hill.
And then he got another one. And then he got another one. And then the worst part, my red zone stream, I must have sat on the remote or something, rewinded about 15 minutes. And I was working on something else. So I didn't realize it. And then all of a sudden I hear in my ears, Taysom Hill, touchdown. And I was like, are you kidding me? Another one? And then I watched the replay and I was like, that looks just like the last touchdown he threw. Like, that's the exact same play. I can't believe they ran it twice and it worked. And then I was like, no, it was literally the exact same play. Check the box score. And then what did it was in like the third quarter. And then all of a sudden it cuts to the Dolphins game before halftime. And I was like,
wait a minute.
Something's wrong here. Unless they're just doing like a recap. But it was.
You say fantasy dog?
It was so infuriating. What's up, fantasy dog?
What up, fantasy dog? Good to
The
see you.
the stats for Taysom Hill are like hilariously amazing. Like he completion percentage 100%, catch rate 100%.
What's his QBR?
Catch rate 100%. What is he averaging? Like 22 yards a pass, averaging what's his per carry? Like yards per carry. It's like this guy is just like unstoppable. 12 yards a carry. Like he's best player all time. Best player all time, right?
That's hilarious.
He's a hog. As much as I don't want to say it, Taysom Hill is an absolute hog, and he took over that game. It was whenever we talk about this game, it really feels like it was Taysom Hill versus the Seahawks, doesn't it? Like I feel like that entire game was just like Andy Dalton doing his best, and they're like, okay, we wanted to score again. Let's put Taysom Hill in there. Like, here comes Taysom Hill. But they keep plugging Andy Dalton in. It's clear that they don't trust Taysom Hill as the full quarterback starter there. He's a tight end who throws passes and runs straight up the middle, and they can't do anything about it. It was insane that I'm going to just get off Taysom Hill. We're done talking about Taysom Hill until we talk about Taysom Hill again. He's making me upset. One more question from Tommy in here. He said, who's the best wide receiver, the most talented? Is it Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, or other? JL, what percentage of people chose Jamar Chase? I'm just kidding. Which one of these players is your favorite wide receiver whenever it comes to the best, the most talented, the elite?
That's so tough, man. They're all in that category.
Got to be Robbie Anderson.
It's got to be Robbie motherfucking Anderson.
His middle name, JL. You can't help that. That's the name his mama gave him.
Name, yeah.
Dog in here saying Cooper Kupp. Maybe Cooper Kupp's in that conversation. What are you going with, Coop? Who's the most talented wide receiver?
Yeah, I guess it depends. If you're talking
Davante
about
Adams, got to be in that
all
conversation.
around, yeah, Davante Adams in the conversation. But I think if I had to pick one guy for my franchise to steal, it would be Justin Jefferson. I think he's the most well-rounded. But Cooper Kupp is probably the best route runner. No question about that. Like, too good.
If it's my team, I'm taking Jamar Chase. This dude's just electric. But Diggs, I think personally, I get the most enjoyment watching.
I'm with Coop. I think I'm going to go Jefferson, but it's super close. You can't go wrong with any of these guys. Let's talk a little bit about that Giants-Packers game. We already hit on the 4-1 Giants quite a bit. They won. They went to London.
They did.
Big underdogs, and they won. We were live during the end of this game on Sunday morning, going through it, and I just kept thinking, like, no, they're not actually going to pull this off, right? And then all of a sudden, Saquon Barkley scores that go-ahead touchdown, and Giants are in this thing. They pulled out the victory. Saquon Barkley's doing Saquon Barkley things after coming back from that injury. Daniel Jones looked decent. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he didn't do anything. He looked good. Like, I'm going to say it. He looked good. Yep. It wasn't a world-beating game, but he was a good quarterback on Sunday in London.
I bash on Daniel Jones a lot, honestly, but I think the number one thing for a quarterback is you have to put together a drive when in the situation when you need to. That determines so many games. Like, honestly, every game, there's that one drive where you have to score or the game gets out of hand. And give it to Daniel Jones. He had the high-pressure situation of that drive coming at the end of the game, and he drove them right down. And they scored. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, Saquon Barkley was the quarterback when they scored, but still.
Do you think they re-sign Barkley and Daniel Jones? Barkley, I believe, has another year on his contract, but do you think this team's going to try to keep that core or move on?
Isn't this the fifth year option year for Barkley? I think this might be.
Is this the fifth year option?
I think they drafted him the same. They didn't pick up the 5th year option on Jones, and they did on Barkley. So yeah, this is the last year for Barkley. if it were me, I would sign Barkley and I would not sign Jones.
What do you think, Jo?
Yeah, I would do the same thing. I think Barkley is instrumental to this team. I mean, I don't know though. They might be in
25.
The way that their draft is going. Or I'm sorry, the way that their season is going. I don't know that they're going to be in a great position to get a quarterback in the draft. So they might need to re-sign Daniel Jones. I don't know.
Very true.
They could get those second-tier quarterbacks. They could pick up DJ Uiagalelei in the second or third round and still have major problems with their
Cooper Rush.
They'll just have a beefier Daniel Jones behind the line is what DJ is. He's got
give Dable DJ though, and that might be interesting.
Beefier Daniel Jones is basically what Josh Allen is, right?
That's a good point. Yeah, 100% same person.
Give Dable and Brian Dable kind of made Josh Allen. People forget that Josh Allen was bad, big time bad.
Yeah, super inaccurate throw.
He was, very raw, but like he came around.
You guys are getting me excited about a possibility of Dable with DJ Uiagalelei. Like the problems that Uiagalelei has, I feel like are what Dable fixed with Josh Allen. And he's 6'4", 236. Like he's a big dude, and when you watch him play, like he drags players with him. Yeah, quarterback for Clemson. Talking
unbiased take.
I'm sitting here saying he's a flawed prospect. Like he should not be a first, probably not a second round pick. But the idea of a coach like Dable getting to work with him is exciting as a Clemson fan and as an NFL fan right there. Dustin said, how about they sign
naturally as a fantasy analyst that has to talk about these players? Naturally, I root against guys like that because I don't want to have to figure out how to say his name.
That's fair.
Say it one more time.
Uiagalelei.
Uiagalelei. There's no N.
There's no N, but it's like Tua Tagovailoa, where like there is that N sound, even though there isn't an N.
There's no N. And Uiagalelei. Did I say it right?
Uiagalelei.
All right, now I'm rooting for him. Now that I know how to say it right, and
now you get to impress everybody.
Yeah, now I'm in. All right, huge.
I just love the announcers in every game. You could tell practice so much because they're so. As soon as they say it, they're so careful every time.
DJ, real name, fake name.
DJ's probably his real name. I mean, I assume it's short for something, but it's probably his real name.
David John.
If I had to guess what DJ stood for, I would have guessed David John, just because those are like the two names that come to mind immediately with D and J. You know what I mean? Like if you said you have 1 second, what does DJ stand for? It would have been like David John. Just throw that out there.
Joseph.
Dustin in here saying, how about they sign Tyler Huntley next offseason to the Giants? JL, as a Ravens fan, you'd probably be sad losing your backup quarterback. He's been fun to watch.
You cannot have like a more different quarterback than Daniel Jones than Tyler Huntley.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got some of that mobility, right? But they are different guys.
They're just like different types of players. Yeah.
Yeah. I like Tyler Huntley a lot, honestly. And people were like, oh, well, he's so good. Why did teams trade for him? The situation with Tyler Huntley is they have him on the unrestricted free agent deal. So they're paying like $700,000. So he's the easiest, cheapest backup. And when he walks, when someone does sign him next year in free agency, the Ravens are going to get a third round compensatory pick probably, or fourth round. So like anyone that wanted Tyler Huntley that actually was going to trade for him, they had to trade a first or second round pick for him because they're going to get that pick. No team.
It would be sad.
Since they came up with the compensatory picks, no team has gotten more compensatory picks than the Ravens, and it's like not even close. The Ravens are like the masters of the comp pick. So
I need to do some more reading on like comp pick math because like I don't quite understand it, like where these comp picks come from. But you're right, some teams are just so good at getting that done. I need to do some research into that comp pick math so I can get a better understanding of that.
Adam in the chat said, "Morning, boys. Morning, Adam. How you doing?"
Adam, what a dog.
Adam had a question for us too. He said, "Hey guys, should I keep Trevor Lawrence as my starter this week or try to pick up someone like Carson Wentz, Jimmy G, or Zach Wilson?" JL, you rolling with TLR? Or are you going with one of those guys?
Let me pull up their matchups real quick.
Get it up, JL.
Matchups time. Week 6 matchups. Carson Wentz is playing. Ooh, is Carson Wentz on? No, Carson Wentz is playing Chicago. That's our Thursday night matchup. That's fun. Jimmy G has the Atlanta Falcons, which is pretty nice. Zach Wilson has Green Bay, which is neutral. And Trevor Lawrence has Indianapolis Colts. Ooh, Jacksonville going to whoop up on the Colts again?
Whoopa.
Oh, Matt Ryan's going to be so mad that he's going to come out there and
so
do
mad.
about what he did last time because the offensive line situation hasn't changed.
I think I'd go Jimmy G or Trevor Lawrence. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have these guys pretty close in my rankings this week. So fine either way. If you're going to have to pick up Jimmy G, I'd just roll with Trevor probably.
Jimmy G could throw 5 touchdowns in the next 5 straight games, and I would still be like, ugh, I have to start Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's just
perfectly described
right?
what it feels like to roster Jimmy G.
Right.
The novelty of how handsome he is wore off after like one season, if we're being honest. Like that first season, and it wasn't just us, it was the announcers as well. Like he would step out on the field, the camera would cut to him, and the announcers would say things like, God, he's so handsome. Like everyone was just enamored by this man's looks. And in fantasy, I was as well. I was like, he's going to be a star. And then I was like, God, it's so boring plugging Jimmy G into your lineup. There's just nothing exciting about it.
Think about the pressure and scrutiny of this league. Like he's, one of the top, at minimum, one of the top 40 quarterbacks in the world. Handsome as all hell. And we're just like, that guy's a loser. Like Subway.
Next!
Subway money, right? Like, good Lord, dude. Like the scrutiny is just brutal, right? Like just good. I mean, man.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, B Kings in here said good morning, FYF. Good morning, B Kings.
What up, B Kings?
Morning, King.
Let's talk a little bit about that Chargers-Browns game. Another game from the 1 p.m. slate as we're moving past the Green Bay New York Giants game. The Chargers ended up winning this one 30-28. And before we talk fantasy, before we talk any of the players, I did want to bring up the Brandon Staley analytics call in the fourth quarter. Did you guys see this? The Chargers are up 2. They're in their own territory, like on their own half of the field. Around a minute left in the game. It's 4th down and 2. And they went for it. They went for it on 4th down with a pass play to Mike Williams. Didn't get it. Turned the ball over on their own side of the field. Like borderline in field goal territory already when the Browns only need a field goal to win the game. The Browns had a chance, a 46-yarder to win it. Missed it, giving the Chargers the victory. But, God, that call to go for it on 4th and 2. The analytics say you're more likely to win if you go for it than if you don't. But JL, what do you think about that play call? Because people were not happy. He escaped with one because he won, it seems like. People would have been just roasting him if they had lost this game.
Here's the thing that you have to remember. People are idiots and they don't know anything. I'm always going to side with analytics because analytics has no skin in the game. Analytics does not have cognitive biases that, I mean, I guess it can if the person who's making the analytics has cognitive bias. You see what I'm saying, though? It's numbers.
Right.
The numbers aren't going to lie, and probability says you're more likely to win. The fans are going to be whatever. People watching, they're going to be whatever because, they're just going to say, oh, well, it either worked or it didn't work. And they're going to be either happy or sad because of it. You got to disregard them. It's all about the analytics. He made the right move.
I'm a man of science, but you gotta live with those decisions. And as a Patriots fan, I mean, like 4th and 2 immediately jumps out to me because the Patriots win on 4th and 2. And that's the thing about those decisions. You have to live with them. Like legit.
Like the Marshawn Lynch one, like that the Super Bowl Pete Carroll, Marshawn Lynch play. That's an analytics play.
You're going to be
smarter
reminded
for him to do the pass or whatever.
But you're going to be reminded. Like,
but you're going to
legit,
be reminded.
I see articles that are like the 10th year anniversary of 4th and 2. And I'm just like, no, stop.
Man, I get it. I get it that the analytics say it's a better play, but the optics of it are pretty bad, right? Like whenever you're just looking at that, you're like, what the hell were you thinking? Instead of pinning this Browns offense, which isn't great, back deep with a minute left and just forcing them to try to drive the field, like just going to give them the ball right here. Obviously that wasn't their plan to give them the ball. The hope was that they kept it and ended the game. But man, I get it. I'm with you guys. When I think rationally about it, it makes sense making that call, but
man, does it feel good to feel irrational?
Yeah, so my buddy, I was at a wedding yesterday. My buddy LJ said, he was talking about the Broncos, but an important point that he made, he was talking about the Broncos, but I think it applies to 2 yards as well, where he basically said, like, if you can't get a yard, if you can't get 2 yards, if you can't take the game in your hands and get 2 yards, you should be looking at the trade deadline and wondering when that is, because only one team gets to win. Like, only one team gets to win the Super Bowl. So if you can't get a yard, what are we doing? You know, if you can't say, I think my team can get 2 yards and the game ends if you get those 2 yards, go for it. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Beautifully said.
That's LJ. LJ, he said that to me, and I was like, bro, I'm stealing
LJ knows.
that. I'm stealing that, dude.
I'm saying that tomorrow as soon as I get the chance.
But he's like, you gotta shout me out. I was like, fine. I was like, Lamont, dude, that's beautiful, dude. I'm stealing that, not giving you credit. But I did give him credit. Lamont, LJ, good call on that, dude. But he's right. If you can't get a yard, dude, what are you doing? What are we doing?
Good point. It's a really good point.
There was a quote somewhere. I'm gonna have to see if I can find it, but it was talking about it was someone who'd been in football operations, hiring coaches for a while, saying basically if Brandon Staley was my head coach, I would have fired him on the spot and made him take a commercial flight back and coach in the middle seat. Was the vibe of the quote for making that call. But I can't find it somewhere. So we'll have to keep looking for that one out there. We had a question in here. Well, first, Squirrel Bob, not a question, but I wanted to get your guys' opinion. He said, leagues with kickers are dumb, but a league where a kicker loses points for missing a field goal is idiotic. Greg Joseph missed a 53-yarder and had a 51-yarder blocked, and I lost 6 effing points.
I think they said fing points.
6 fing points.
Jeez.
Dumb, just dumb. Thank you, Joe.
I'm
Sorry
just
about
dumb.
that.
That's too
Joe,
many
what do you
fing
think about
points,
this?
dude.
What do you think about the negative points for missing field goals?
I think it's fine, man. It's just a scoring setting, right? I understand not liking it, but I also know that you accepted to join this league, Squirrel Bob. You accepted to join this league, and you knew the rules. It is what it is.
Yeah, write a letter, Squirrel Bob.
Change it in the offseason. There's nothing you can do about it now. It does suck. I get it. Finding rules mid-season that absolutely suck, that hurt your team, that aren't fun. But in season, you can't change them. Know what I mean? People
just
drafted
on principle. How you guys
mind.
feel about those? How you guys feel about like playing with that rule though? Like just from is it a fun rule? Or not?
I think if you're gonna have the rule, you have to have it where it's like prorated, right? Like where if you miss like a 20-yarder, you lose 3 points, or you miss like a 30-yarder, you lose 2. If you miss a 40-yarder, you lose 1. Missing 50-yard kicks, dude.
Whatever.
That is painful.
You're taking a shot anyway.
So some teams won't even roll their kicker out for that opportunity. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I you shouldn't lose 3 points for a 50-yard kick. Like
That's
kind
absurd.
with that.
To me, that's
I'm with
ridiculous, right? That's like having your quarterback lose points for a Hail Mary.
That's exactly what I was about to say, Coop. Like people would be crying so foul if a pass hit the ground and you lost a point for your quarterback. I mean, you do in some leagues, but a Hail Mary being minus 3 points would be absolutely insane.
Score Bob's just saying, yeah, he knows. He's not saying to change it. Just saying that it's dumb. Yeah,
It is
totally
dumb.
get that. Totally
No,
get
change
that.
it, Scrub Bob.
Change it right now.
You're right. You're right, dude.
So
Not saying change it right now.
change it right now, Squirrel Bob. Don't
retroactively
don't
remove those negative points. -6, dude. That's so stupid.
That is really stupid.
does
I hope
suck.
it didn't cost you the win. I hope either you were winning by more than that or really losing, or it didn't affect your victory over there.
Scott Fish in the
Tommy
chat.
Mullen-
I have data on that. Yeah, the Scott Fish Bowl does have negative points for
That's
incomplete.
true.
I thought they got rid of negative points for kickers this year.
Yeah,
Didn't
they did.
No, for
Yeah.
for kickers, or I thought he was talking about incomplete passes. 'Cause
Oh,
we were
incomplete
talking about
passes
that,
they do. Yeah. That was the league I remembered. I said, as I was saying that, I was like, "Oh, Scott Fishbowl does count," but they also count for complete passes.
Listen,
You know what I
listen to
mean?
this. He said missing kicks is so rare and so varied that 2 years ago in SFB 11, we just made it -3 because the difference between doing based off yardage versus a set of just having -3 across the board was almost nothing overall, which is pretty interesting.
Interesting.
Okay, but this is a game of large data sets that we do with very limited sample sizes each weekend. Know what I mean? Like I understand what he's saying, but if your guy
That's the
missed
game.
that is the game. But I'm saying, like, even though the large data set says that, it's still going to feel bad every time that a 50-yard field goal is -3 points for you, right? Like,
For sure.
like it makes the difference on the micro level. Like I get what you're saying, Scott, but just from like a how does the game feel perspective, know what I mean? Like a lot of these rules are to like maximize the amount of fun. I get the data says that it doesn't pan out, but if I lose 3 points for a 50-yard field goal being missed, I'm going to be sad. Whereas if it's just -1, I might not be as sad.
He added that. He added
Totally
that
agree
point
with
right
that.
there. I got rid of negative points for kickers this year because it's not it's just not fun, and it's not
There
fun.
you go.
Like who the hell is like pounding the table for that rule?
It's like taking the under, right?
Yeah.
It's just like not as fun to sit there and root for a wet blanket of a game in the same way like no one likes losing points. You don't like a fumble.
Keith watching Thursday Night Football rooting for no touchdowns. In overtime,
women winning the most boring $700.
The game goes to overtime. He's like, darn it!
Closes his encyclopedia.
He was looking up the word touchdown. He actually wasn't sure what it meant whenever he made the bet, and he's reading about it in his Encyclopedia Britannica that he bought from a salesman only 3 days ago. There's still door-to-door encyclopedia salesman where Keith lives.
That's such a betting rooting for money. He says, yeah, rooting for money. Betting no touchdowns is such a door-to-door encyclopedia salesman move. Right?
He's actually keeping that business alive. He just can't say no to knowledge. You know what I mean?
Which NFL player would be a door-to-door encyclopedia salesman, and why is it Hunter Renfrow?
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm trying to think if there's a better one. If there's like a better
Kirk Cousins,
Zach Wilson. Kirk Cousins, 100%. It's Kirk Cousins. Oh my god! I can see him in like the suit that just is like a couple sizes too big,
looking like a grill cover. Just
but it's like the 3-button 3-piece suit.
Yeah.
Scott here's saying, and to Coop's point, you should do it the way he said, based on yardage, because it feels way better. You shouldn't be penalized much for missing a super long one versus a short one. It's all about the feel. It's all about the vibes.
It's easy. Yeah, it is vibes. And it's like, if I'm sitting there watching the game and my kicker misses a 25-yard field goal, I am like, this guy's an idiot. And so you do feel like, he should lose those points. But if a guy rolls out and tries a 60-yarder, it's like, you look at it and you're like, right? So you shouldn't lose 3 points. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys.
Let's move on to this Bears-Vikings game. The Vikings pulling out a victory. The Bears looked like they might pull this one out for a minute. The 29-22 was the final score in this one. Justin Fields, 15 for 21, 208, and a touchdown. Adam, 47 on the ground. I know it wasn't a like an electrifying performance from Justin Fields, but I feel like we saw pieces come together this week. We saw some long runs. We saw some good passes outside of the pocket. Like we saw flashes of what made Justin Fields special in the draft process.
Dear Lord.
Grimace just jumped out of his cup. Tried to pick up my phone when it was plugged in. Almost took down a load-bearing part of my wall.
I had absolutely no idea where that sound came from. If it was coming from like my real life room or if that was in the headphones.
Yeah, no, that was that's going on over here.
That's what we got going on. That's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that. Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. We're
That's
talking
okay.
about the Bears.
We were talking about some Justin Fields. I was saying I feel like we saw pieces of his game coming together this week that I feel like we haven't seen much so far this season. He had that great touchdown run that was called back due to an illegal block by a teammate. He had that gorgeous throw and an even better catch by Darnell Mooney, the one-handed snag by him. Like we saw some plays outside of the pocket that were just beautiful for him. I got some hope, not for this season, but I still think Justin Fields can be that dude. He can be a good NFL quarterback. Do you guys have any hope or are you giving up? He's got the lowest completion percentage in the NFL, I think.
I'm waiting for PFF grades are trickling in, the numbers. I don't care about the grades actually, but I care about the stats. And I want to see how many. So we talked about how they've been calling pass plays and he just hasn't been throwing it, right? So he's only throwing it on 2/3 of the pass plays they call. I want to see how many dropbacks he had, right? Because 21 attempts to me doesn't quite tell the story. I want to see that they called 25 plays and he actually threw it on 21, because that to me, that means that next time, if they call 30 or 40, then we're going to have a real game where like Mooney and Kmet are actually involved. Kmet, 3 catches, 3 targets last week, 4 catches, 4 targets this week. And dude doesn't drop the ball. Just like 100% catch rate. Just what? 10 targets, 10 catches. I can pretty much guarantee that.
10 catch commit. He's got it.
He could be back, man. He could be back, because if this team starts to figure it out and they start to throw a normal amount of times like a normal team, look out.
Of course, I dropped him in 2 leagues this week. I had to. Komet. Komet. Had to drop him.
40 yards.
We'll see.
So it's not like
We'll see.
It's not like he's Taysom Hill or anything.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Stop it, Coop. You just ruined my mood. I was doing so good.
Dude.
Fantasy Dog, and you're saying, oh my, the Mooney catch.
I know. Fantasy Dog brought it up earlier. I was getting ready to say, y'all see that
Mooney
catch. Mooney catch.
That's the reason I had Darnell Mooney as a top 12 wide receiver this season. I know that sounds silly, but whenever
catch,
not that catch, but like we saw him do plays like that. We saw him look like a top tier, incredible from like a talent level wide receiver last year in a very bad Bears offense. If this offense takes a step forward and Mooney is getting the targets that we think he probably should, he's an unreal player. Like he has that ceiling. It was just nice to see. I was excited to see such a highlight play from Darnell Mooney after what's been a rough season for someone that was really excited about him so far. We'll see if he can get it together. On the other side of the ball, Justin Jefferson, back to doing Justin Jefferson things. 12 receptions off 13 targets, 154 yards, absolutely killing it. We talked about him earlier. Coop, you said he's the most talented wide receiver in the NFL. JL, you said he was in the conversation. You're starting Justin Jefferson every week, and I don't think there's too much else to add about Justin Jefferson. Alvin Cook killed it, 18 carries, 2 touchdowns, 94 yards, and should have had a third one. How are we viewing Dalvin Cook rest of the season? I feel like he's kind of been sneaking under the radar because we've been talking to Saquon Barkley's, the Christian McCaffreys, the Jonathan Taylors, the Austin Ecklers, and I feel like Dalvin Cook's kind of been like the forgotten man of that top tier of running backs.
Currently, he is the RB13. I don't know if this it does include week 5. Currently, the RB13 in PPR. 14. He's got a 14.3 fantasy points per game. That's what he's averaging. I mean, Dalvin Cook is quietly being fantastic outside of the injury.
Yeah. He's a guy you start every single week, you know? Like, I think we're down on him a little bit because of the shoulder injury, but clearly not a big deal.
Yeah. He's fine. Running, getting 2 touchdowns.
Does he have number 1 overall running back upside, or is he not in that conversation with Madison there?
He'll always be in that conversation.
He'll always be in that conversation. Yeah. I'm not like incredibly, I don't think it's incredibly likely, especially with the shoulder injury, especially that offense. But I think that he's, like Coop said, he's always in that conversation.
Yeah. We got some questions in here that I wanted to hit. Do y'all think Pickett will start to pick it up and be fantasy relevant anytime soon? Is Pickett going to pick it up?
No.
I think he should be more relevant. Yeah, I mean, so far, what have we seen from him? A half a game plus a game against the Bills. We gotta wait and see.
Yeah. I mean, he did throw a million times this week, right?
327 passing yards or something like that. Like it was in the 300s. It was a decent game from him.
No touchdowns, but still.
I'm not excited about starting Kenny Pickett. Like I'm not picking him up the stash. I don't think he's going to be like your secret weapon that wins you a fantasy league. Like I don't think you're getting QB1 numbers out of him, but he's in that streaming category. Sure. Like you could pick him up as a streamer in a good matchup, but I'm not like stashing Kenny Pickett. Know what I mean? Like he's not on my bench waiting for that breakout because behind that offensive line, there's only so much that this offense can get going, I think.
I would say you don't need to add him in 1 quarterback leagues. In 2 quarterback leagues, obviously somebody's got him.
We had another
Scott Fishbowl.
How's it working?
Congratulations.
Haven't played him yet.
Oops.
But have you been thinking about it at all?
Not really, no. I have Tom Brady and I have somebody else who just make it a no-brainer.
I like somebody else. I was going to say somebody else is way better than Kenny Pickett.
I have somebody else ranked way ahead of Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
We have a question in here. Should we be looking to trade AJ Dillon? I lost Patterson and he's killing me at RB2. So on a more like meta level, I feel like we see this a lot. Players start underperforming and they're looking at trading them away. And sometimes it is a declining asset and you get out while you can, but a lot of times that ends up being the worst time to trade for a player is after disappointing games. Coop, what do you think about AJ Dillon? Should you be looking to trade away Dillon?
Here's what I think about AJ Dillon. It's like that meme where it's like the guy puts the stick in the spokes of his own bike and then he complains about it. It's like, dude, you drafted a backup running back. You know what I mean? Like we knew this could happen, right? Like this is in the range of outcomes that he would be the backup running back. So like you just got, to me, if you could package him up and move him for a running back that starts, right? Like, go find the dude that loves Tony Pollard and trade him Tony Pollard too. Then I'd say do it, dude. But like, that's like when you draft guys like this, like that's obviously, you have to remember that was always gonna be the case.
My belief is that for AJ Dillon to be good, this Packers offense needs to be good. Like, where AJ Dillon eats is when they are grinding out the clock, right? When they're up 10, when they're up 14, and they just need a power runner in there. That's when AJ Dillon eats. And this Packers offense is a lot worse than we thought it was going to be. I think as a whole, as a community, we overrated what Aaron Rodgers was going to be able to do with this offense, and it's not looking great. So if they can get it together, I think there's better days ahead for AJ Dillon, but that's an if. That's an if, not a win for this Packers offense.
I did that thing that you sent me, the one where you like pick one team versus the other, and I ended up having the Packers super high just because like it's the Packers. In your mind, you're just thinking about Aaron Rodgers, but I'm just not. I agree. I'm not sure this team is as good as we think it is.
JJ Zachary sent out an interesting tweet in his weekly data dump tweets. He said, per next gen stats, AJ Dillon played a season low 31% of Green Bay snaps today. His previous season low was 50.8% in week 1. His target share has gone down each week this year. Week 17, 17%. I'm sorry, week 1, 17%. Week 2, 12%. Week 3, 9%. Week 4, 6%. Week 5, 0% target share.
I think they should name the weeks after AJ Dillon's target share. Just like
they should. This week is week 0.
He should change that. He should change the name of that to the data dump on AJ Dillon.
Yeah. Got him.
Where's the Odell joke? Cue the Odell Beckham joke. Albert in here wanted to know Dillon or Kenneth Walker rest of season. With Rashad Penny out, it's probably Kenneth Walker. He's a starting running back. Walker for you as well, Coop?
It's science. Yeah. Starting running backs are the guys that I want.
Science says Walker. Guys, we're going to keep on breaking down these games, play a little bit of fantasy detective, and then Juan Carlos Blanco of RotoWire is coming on a little bit later today to talk some Monday Night Football with us. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy with Simon, JL, and Coop.
JL, I think this is the game everyone's been waiting for, and the moment in this game that we are probably going to have to talk about for at least the next 15 minutes. The Miami Dolphins took down the Buffalo Bills 21-19, and we got to talk about it. The play of the game, the butt punt.
The butt punt.
Punted straight into Trent Sherfield's abyss between his legs is where that
booty patootie.
It was straight up there. It could not have been aimed better up that Tuchus. Like, he just went for it. Like, you look at the picture, shout out USA Today photographer that caught that image, because wow, moment of impact, and you can really see just how well aimed between the cheeks that ball was. And Craig said, did y'all see Mark Sanchez's tweet to the punter? I did. Mark Sanchez tweet, stay out of my lane, bro.
That's pretty good.
I love all these self-aware tweets yesterday. Mark Sanchez, Orlovsky, like they're just coming in and like poking fun of themselves.
Yeah.
That's pretty good stuff right there.
Corey, Nando, and friends, presented by Mayo Media on Bettor Sports Network.
Speaking of TV, last night I tried to watch Aaron Judge.
Did you watch the K-Rod broadcast?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Look, I went to ESPN Plus and I'm like, I want to watch this K-Rod thing because they had Roger Clemens and they had Barry Bonds on. Bonds brought up when Clemens hit him on his piece of armor. And Clemens was like, oh, it was a strike, man. It was a strike.
No, like, Clemens was like, if you wear, and I don't blame Clemens, if you wear that thing, right, that piece of armor, and you on top of the plate like that, target practice. I'm going to see if I can hit that joint.
And he was, I mean, Clemens, it was a strike. Get off the plate is basically what he said.
Yeah, exactly. Get off the plate.
Can you imagine the three of them? Like, you're Michael Kay, and you're sitting there with Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, and Roger. Three guys who should be in the Hall of Fame and are not. Like, who should have been like first ballot, slam dunk Hall of Famers.
That's the problem with the game.
We should get them on the show. All three of them together on this show.
That'd be cool. Corey, Nando, and friends. They're the friends.
They're the friends. I mean, why not, right? They seem like nice guys.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
I started watching the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix last night, which I knew a lot.
That looked pretty freaky, man. Is it as frightening and kind of eerie as it looks?
Yeah, it's like disturbing. Like, you know, there's no.
You think? He ate people, Ray. It better be disturbing.
Well,
to you.
I know the story. He ate people, and I murders. I knew, but I didn't know he was drunk all the time. And
Well, Ray, I mean, we've all been there. You get the munchies when you're drunk. That would be actually a defense in court. Your Honor, I was drunk the whole time. I was hungry and I needed food, and my neighbor was there. What am I supposed to do?
I thought he had like beer cans all over his place. There was a lot of Miller and Bud. I guess he was not only was he a person of opportunity with the killings, he was a beer drinker of opportunity. Because I don't think you normally do one and the other. You should do one or the other.
I don't want to tell AB or Miller how to do their business, but don't go marketing that Jeffrey Dahmer loves your beer while he was eating kidneys.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. We were talking a little bit about Kenneth Walker after that Rashad Penny injury, AJ Dillon versus Kenneth Walker. And I see Fantasy Dog in there saying Walker's available on the waiver wire in a lot of 10-team leagues out there. If Walker's sitting there on the waiver wire, I'm probably throwing every last bit of fab I have at him. Like every last bit. He looked good. It looks like he's going to be the lead running back in that offense. You guys with me? If Walker's sitting on your waiver wire, are you top waiver priority, all your fab, whatever it takes to get him?
This might be the big one, right? If you were sitting there with a Hundy spot, I'd say go for it.
This might be the move. Or, Coop, I can't remember if this is something you've brought up. I feel like someone has brought this up regularly as like a favorite move. If your league allows fab trading, maybe you got some trades that are close to getting done. Get a little $1, $2, $3, $5 extra thrown in there to seal the deal. Know what I mean? Like make it a close trade. Then say like $5 fab. We'll call it a deal. And then you got that extra money that your league mates don't have to go and secure that player.
That's my favorite move. You feel like a king. You feel like a god. Right? You're like Xerxes with your $102 fab.
He's just gonna be sitting there at the end of the season, like $1.2 million fab.
Yeah, don't even use it. Just sit on my pile of riches.
He starts investing his fab, starts compounding.
I can have anyone.
At the end of the season, you're really Coop's really confused at the end of the year when they don't give the trophy to him and he has the most fab. He's like, guys, I collected the most money. Like, didn't I win? Like, I'm pretty sure I won this league.
Rich, dude.
Dog, and you're saying the fab god.
Fab god.
Can you write a Weird Al level of parody to Rap God called the Fab God and just do a full performance of it on the show?
And just rap it as fast as Eminem does too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I think I can do that. I'll just freestyle it.
Perfect. You're gonna freestyle a Fab God parody of Rap God. Yeah, that sounds like it's gonna go well.
Not a problem. Give me that beat.
Keith.
Yeah, where is it, Keith? Come on.
Yeah. We haven't gotten our daily YouTube with DMCA takedown yet.
I know I did sing a little bit of Andy Grammer before you got on the show, Coop. We might get some.
How many did we get last? What was our hit rate last week? 3 for 5.
I think so.
Last week
it was around Baker Mayfield's completion percentage. I think was our takedown rate. Guys, we did have a game that I wanted to play with you guys today. The Week 5 edition of Fantasy Football Detectives, the game where I reveal information about a player slowly, give you some clues, and you guys have to take turns guessing who you think that player is. It's gonna be some Week 5 stats, some Week 5 narratives. You guys want to get into this?
Oh yeah.
Let's do it. JL, happy birthday. You get to pick if you want to go first or second.
I'll go second.
JL going second. Coop, you're going to go first. And if you guys are listening, you want to call in and play with us, hit that call in button in the Bettor Sports Network app. It's super easy. You just have to have the app downloaded. Make sure you're registered, and it's one button to call in and play along with us. Or you can play along in the chat. Throw your guesses in the chat. Coop and JL, keep your eyes off those comments while we're in the middle of a round. Otherwise, I know Fantasy Dog's over there about ready to kill it, and Tommy's going to just be feeding you wrong answers in the regular comment section.
I don't mean to minimize you guys, but I've minimized you. So.
Yeah, get out of my face.
I thought you were about to say something really insulting to me for some reason. Like I was like, I don't mean to minimize you, but
I don't mean to minimize you, but you're the Daniel Jones of hosts.
You know what?
Quick on your feet, heavy torso.
Dude, you just A-winning drives, dude. Heavy torso. We'll front heavy.
Heavy torso. That's funny.
Bottom half a little slower than the top half.
Have you ever had a doctor comment on your torso length? Like it's one of those things where it's just like, why do I have to now think about this for the rest of my life? Know what I mean? Like not once in my life did I consider the length of my torso until you said something about it. And now every time I look in the mirror, I'm like, that's a pretty long torso, isn't it? That's a little longer than it should be. Like my torso should be a couple inches shorter and my legs a couple inches longer.
Now you have to picture your doctor like, he's like, goes to the receptionist. He's like, who's my next appointment? And she's like, this guy Simon. He's like, oh, that's like the weird long torso guy, right? And everyone's like, yeah.
100%.
Just picture that. Just picture that every.
Oh God. Okay.
God, it's the long torso guy coming in here
again, dude.
Again.
Just really hurt my feelings. I like now I have to think about it all. He didn't even mean it as an insult, yet I'm stuck here thinking about it for the rest of my life. Like, is my torso abnormal? It's that, and then one time he also told me I had really little ears. And so now I just sit there thinking about my little ears, my long torso, and those are things I'm self-conscious in my little mouth.
It's so funny. It's so funny because like those aren't like necessarily bad things. They're just like observations, but still,
exactly.
It sounds mean. Like calling somebody little ears.
Little ears.
My ears are normal, okay?
Find a new slant.
It's not the size of the ear, it's how you use it. I can hear fine, Doc. What were we doing again? Before I got on a rant about my doctor criticizing parts of my body. Tim said your little ears really stretch out that long ass torso. Yeah, the little ears really
long ass torso.
Hey Tim, what's an ass torso?
We are
that's
playing special right there.
Yeah, that's Tim's favorite joke.
Mouth them.
We are playing fantasy detectives. I'm going to give you guys clues one by one. You're going to guess who that player was. Coop, you're going first. Here is your first clue. I had 10 receptions on 13 targets.
This week?
Week 5 edition. We're talking all week 5 stats. Yeah.
10 receptions on 13 targets. Was it? Was it Justin Jefferson?
It was not Justin Jefferson. JL, do you have a guess?
Was it Jamar Chase?
It was not Jamar Chase. Your next clue is I had no touchdowns, so I did not score a touchdown in this game.
No touchdowns. 10 receptions.
Does Coop go first?
Yeah, Coop's got the first guess.
I still continue to go.
Round, and then in the next round, JL, you'll have the first guess. 10 receptions, no touchdowns, 13 targets. That's all the info you know so far. Is that stat line making you think of anyone, Coop?
Not quite. I'm trying to think of. I don't have it. Let's see what teams threw a lot. Was it Marvin Jones?
It was not Marvin Jones. Great guess though. JL, what about you? You got a guess here for me?
Yeah, I got a guess for you, Simon. I'm gonna go with Marquise Brown.
It was not Marquise Brown. I like the guess though. I'm seeing some guesses in the chat. Keep on throwing them in there, and I will say none of you have it yet in the chat. So keep on guessing as we reveal more clues. Here is your next clue. I received 39.4% of my team's targets this week. So close to 40% target share for this player. I guess
it wasn't a team that threw. It wasn't the team that threw a lot. Then they threw like no, yeah. If 13 is 40% of the targets, they only threw like 30. No, I don't know. I don't know the math, but it's not that much. Then
you got a guess, Coop?
Was it Mike Williams?
It was Mike Williams. Mike Williams is absolutely
Yes.
correct, Coop. Nice pull on that one.
Let's go.
Mike Williams, 10 receptions, 134 yards, no touchdowns with a 39.4% target share. What'd you say, JL?
Did the chat get it?
Dustin got it at the last
Dustin
second.
got it.
748 came in there and got it. Nice job, Dustin.
Fantasy dog, yes, Higbee.
And Jacoby Myers, it looked like it was the other one. Then he said, no, he had a tutty. Yeah, Jacoby Myers did have that touchdown.
Rare Jacoby Myers touchdown. Patriots.
So Diggs is a guess. Diggs had that touchdown. Devonta Smith is a guess. All good guesses. But Coop, you're going to get that point. Dustin got it slightly before you, but around the same time. Around the same time, Coop. JL, you got the
first. This was super smart, so that makes me feel good that I was almost as smart.
John Luke, you ready for your next one?
Yep.
I'm a running back who was tackled twice for a loss this week.
If you get this,
just twice for a loss. So like they had other runs, or those are just the two tackles that were for losses.
Can't tell you that. You know he's not going to tell you that.
I just
why are you asking that? You know he's not going to tell you.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
You know he's not going to tell you, dude.
All right. Excuse me for asking questions. I'll go with
on two of the plays in
Melvin
the game,
Gordon.
Regardless of his other plays.
Let's go with Melvin Gordon.
I'm just going to clarify for everyone, because if you have the question, instead of being rude, maybe other people have the question as well. I apologize for that. All I'm giving you here is that on two plays in this game, he was tackled for a loss. And those are the only times that he was tackled for a loss. I'm not saying anything else about the other plays in this game, but there were two times in this game that he was tackled for a loss. What was your guess, JL?
Melvin Gordon.
That is wrong. Coop, what do you think? You have a guess?
Austin Eckler.
It is not Austin Eckler. I had 17 rushing attempts in this game. So there's the other 15. 17 rushing attempts.
Chubb.
It is not Nick Chubb. Coop, you got a guess?
I do. Was it Breece Hall?
It was not Breece Hall either. Your next clue, my long rush was for 41 yards.
Pretty long run.
It's a pretty long run.
Shoot, I don't know. Dalvin Cook?
It is not Dalvin Cook. Coop, what do you think here?
Was it Saquon Barkley?
It was not Saquon Barkley. Here is another clue. I have a rushing touchdown in each of the last two games. So this week and last week had a rushing touchdown.
Jeff Wilson?
It is Jeff Wilson, JL. Jeff Wilson is the correct answer.
Good job, dude.
Nice pull on that one. JL, we've talked
about
Jeff Wilson a bit here. You've been a bit higher on him than I have. I'm not a Jeff Wilson hater, but this is 2 weeks in a row now with a touchdown. He had 120 rushing yards this week. Looking pretty good out there. How are you feeling about Jeff Wilson the rest of this time while Elijah Mitchell's out?
Feeling pretty good. Yeah, I mean, Jeff Wilson, he is getting the usage of 18 attempts in week 4, 74 yards. Sorry, that was week 4, not week 5. I don't have the game logs up for that yet. But yeah, no, I'm Jeff Wilson, Shanahan uses the running back pretty heavily. So Jeff Wilson, until Elijah Mitchell comes back, is filling in that role, and that's very enticing.
Coop, do you think when Elijah Mitchell comes back, he's just going to step back into that role?
I think so, yeah. But you said you're not a Jeff Wilson hater?
No.
I'm pretty sure I've heard a radio clip that we have as a commercial where you kind of
very explicitly state that I like him in that clip. The words, I like Jeff Wilson. I just don't love Jeff Wilson.
Backhanded compliment.
You like him as a friend. You like him as a friend. Yeah. You like, you can hang out with him in short spurts.
He's a really
great, kind of the vibe I got.
He's been a really great friend over the past couple of years. Like, just a great friend to me. He's like a brother, really. He's like a brother is how I view Jeff Wilson.
I don't trust Shanahan, to answer your question. Never will.
Never have, never will.
Never have, never will. Never lost.
Joe, you tied it up after that one, 1-1. Coop, you got the first attempt again on this next one. You ready?
So ready.
I had 20 rushing yards this week.
At 20 rushing yards, I'm thinking that it might be a wide receiver or a quarterback instead of a running back. Was it Curtis Samuel?
It was not Curtis Samuel. John Luke, you got a guess?
Josh Allen?
Is not Josh Allen. We got some guesses in the chat as well. Keep throwing those guesses in there. Here's your next one. I averaged 1.7 yards per attempt.
So it is a running back. A bad one.
Also, no one in the chat has it yet. Just letting you guys know. You guys do not have
1.7 yards per attempt. You.
No, you.
Yeesh. Is it Joe Mixon?
It is not Joe Mixon. JL?
Was it Najee?
It was not Najee. That was the most popular answer in the chat as well. A lot of people guessing Najee. You ready for the next clue?
Yep.
My long for the week was only 9 yards. His long rush, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
You got something for me, JL? I see you thinking there.
Is it me? I thought it was Coop.
Oh, it is Coop.
I got something for you. I've been set.
I could see you had something for me in your eyes.
Was it Zeke?
It was not Zeke. JL, you got a guess?
Daniel Jones.
It was not Daniel Jones. Here's another clue. The team spelled my last name wrong on my jersey.
What? See, I was at this stupid wedding, so I might have missed that. Dude, so 1.7 yards per carry means that he got like 13 or 14 carries, right? Was it James Robinson?
It was not James Robinson. JL, you know whose name was spelled wrong on their jersey?
No. I'll go with Algier.
It is not Algier. One more clue. You guys ready for one more clue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was my first game back after injury.
Was it David Montgomery?
It was David Montgomery, or as his jersey said this weekend, David Montgomery. There was an extra O in there and said David Montgomery.
He just rolled with it. He's like,
cool.
all right.
It's a little fancier that way.
Montgomery.
Montgomery.
You made it a little bit Italian. Just that slight
Tiny
Italian.
Italian.
You know what's awful though? That I'm about to go on, not a rant, but just a mini thing. That had more of an Italian accent than Mario does in that trailer. I am so excited for the Mario movie, but why couldn't Chris Pratt have just done like a little bit of a voice? It's just his voice. It's just Chris Pratt dressed up as Mario running around with all these other characters. Like, he's Italian. That's like one of two things we know about him. We know he's Italian and we know he's a plumber, and they're like, forget the Italian side. Like,
on the flip side, dude, Jack Black as Bowser, that's gonna be fun, dude. That's gonna be fun. Yeah,
I love.
He's
Jack
a maniac.
Black.
I love Jack. Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah,
he's like top 3 favorite celebrities. Jack Black is up there.
For
School of Rock, top 5 movies of all
good
time.
Film. Good
I'm watching it too. I'm putting that on in the background while I'm working.
Ned Schneebly.
Ned Schneebly.
There's a guy that plays for Winnipeg, Mark Scheifele, and we play in our fantasy hockey league. Everyone calls him Ned Schneebly because it's hilarious.
Ned Schneebly.
I went to the place where Nacho Libre was filmed. I saw some of the areas where they did the shots. It's in downtown Oaxaca City in Mexico, where they have like a lot of the filming take place. And it was like, I got so many Nacho Libre flashbacks because that's probably one of my like most watched movies of my childhood We loved that movie at my house. And I'm walking around, I'm like, that's from Nacho Libre. That's from Nacho Libre.
Anytime you mention a movie, my very first thought is he's seen Nacho Libre, but he's never seen Shawshank Redemption. Right? Like, he's seen Nacho Libre, but he's never seen Goodfellas. Like,
you know what's a lot easier to watch? It's a lot easier to watch Nacho Libre than it is to watch Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, the Shank is an investment.
Takes effort. It takes effort to watch a movie like that.
Yeah. But you've seen Nacho Libre multiple times, but you've never seen Goodfellas.
Oh, that's just the beginning of the thread, Coop. Just you wait.
I don't even want to.
Just you wait. You don't want to pull on that.
I don't want to pull on that thread. Nacho Libre, multiple viewings.
I'm 100% gonna watch Nacho Libre.
I've never seen Nacho
before.
Libre.
What?
Dude, you really can't be upset.
I'll trade you.
We're just chasing our own tail here.
Coop, I'll trade you. I'll watch Shawshank Redemption. You watch Nacho Libre.
Dude, seriously though, you text me. How long is Nacho Libre? Like for like an hour?
It's like probably 2 hours.
30 minutes.
Next time all right, fine. If you watch the Shank, you text me. I'll throw Nacho Libre on. I promise.
Okay, perfect. It's a deal. Coop's got 2 points. JL has 1 after that. JL, you get to go first on this one. You ready for your first prompt?
Yeah.
I have an 85.8% snap share.
Ooh, this is my stuff. On the season or just this week?
On the season, I believe. Keith, can you confirm?
I will guess.
Week 5 is the snap share.
That makes it way harder. That makes it way harder.
That changed my guess entirely.
That makes it possibly difficult, in fact. If it was on the season, I think I would be better off.
Let's go with 2% snap share. Let's go with Evan Ingram. Oh my God, he just switched it.
Coward.
It's the season.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
So let me get this straight, Keith. Let's rewind the scenario. I said, I think it's the season. It's the season. Let me confirm with Keith. You made me switch just so JL could give his answer based on bad information when originally I gave him the right information, and then you come in and give it. This is preposterous. I'm getting sick of Keith.
The moment JL guesses, JL, I'll give you another guess, dude.
First Taysom Hill, and now this, Keith. This is how my week's gonna start off.
Keith, you jerk.
God, Keith.
Okay, JL, you want
JL,
to go
I'll
again?
give you another guess.
I appreciate that, guys. Let's go with get
that Peyton Branding picture out of my face. Oh, dude.
That face is just like it's like the
bro.
definition of like confusion while also like horror. Like it's like a guy that's gonna look wildly confused while he chases you with a machete. You know what I mean? Like he's like, I don't want to do this. I don't know why I'm doing this.
That dude looks like he hugs animals.
Described it perfectly.
That dude is a straight sling blade, right?
Oh my God. All right. I'm gonna guess Michael Carter.
It is not Michael Carter.
That'd be an insane snap share. Of all the people to guess, dude, you guess I'm running back.
Running back. You know what's funny is that not more than 30 seconds ago, I thought to myself, no, I can't pick a running back. That's a dumb move. And then I was like, you know what? Keith made this. I'm going to go Michael Carter.
But it could be a running back because that would be an interesting stat for running backs. It's not that interesting for many other positions. You might have opened a little can of worms there.
Ooh.
Is it Josh Jacobs?
No, it's not Josh Jacobs.
Damn it, Simon! You trick me every time with that. And I know you're gonna do it too. And I'm always like,
I can't get JL with it anymore. He doesn't even.
You get me every time.
He
just assume you're doing it.
The next stat is I have 103.5 air yards per game. JL, I know you're keeping up on your air yards stats. So who is this player? It's a gimme now.
Me and JL just had a little chat about air yards the other day. He might be up on it. He might be up on it.
I might be. Watch out. I might be. Let's go with Cortland Sutton.
Cortland Sutton is incorrect.
103.5. It's pretty okay. That's actually good. Is it Devonta Smith?
It is not Devonta Smith. It is not Devonta Smith. Your next stat is I averaged 15.9 yards per catch in this game.
Whoa. In this game, this past game, week 5 game?
I am pulling up the stats because I don't trust Keith anymore. Yes, 15.9 this week. Maybe it's for the whole season too. I highly doubt it, but it's definitely for this week.
It'd be a pretty fun coincidence.
That's not what he's averaging per reception this season.
So far we know 82% snap share.
85.
85.8. 85.8% snap share. And that's it.
Under 3.5 air yards per game.
Oh, yeah.
You also know that. And now you know this past week, 15.9 yards per catch.
Okay. Well, it's got to be one of two people. Deebo Samuel.
It is not Deebo Samuel. Coop, you got a guess?
All right, let's do a little thinking here. So he had more than 2 catches, or else that number would end in 0.5.
They what? Say that again.
Well, I'm just trying to do a little deductive reasoning. If he had only 2 catches, then his average would have ended in 0.5, right? So he had at least a few catches this week, and 15.9 means he had probably had a lot of yards. And then I remember that I was at a wedding and didn't really watch football.
And then none of that matters.
Well, at this wedding, dude, I was like watching on my phone, like in the church, you know. And then I was like, the reception was like at a golf course, so I was just like hanging out in the pro shop, just being like, I'm not gonna buy anything. But
was your fiance like chatting in her eyes?
I wouldn't know because I didn't spend any time with her. Let's see.
It was just him and Mark in the pro shop.
Is it David and Njoku? Me and Mark just showing.
Mark in the pro shop.
Yeah, I'm like sneaking him hors d'oeuvres. Like
looking at polos.
You walk away for a second, then you come back, double fist and beers in each hand. You're like, "Hey, Mark,
they're both Coors Lights."
What I missed?
Beelzebubs.
It's 3 Coors Lights and 1 Michelob because they ran out of Coors already. So you take
give Mark the Michelob.
Oh,
Mark gets whatever. Mark gets whatever he wants, dude. Legend.
Whatever he wants. Oh, it got exciting in that pro shop. Your guess was David and Njoku, Coop?
No, it wasn't. That wasn't my guess.
Okay, then what is your guess?
My guess, because I can tell that it wasn't the answer, so I'm gonna go with.
Watch it be the answer.
Right? Was it Mark Andrews?
It was not Mark Andrews.
His snap share's way higher.
Jill, I believe it's your guess. No, you went first, right? So it is not your guess. We got another clue over here. I caught my first touchdown of the season this weekend.
So is it my guess or JL's guess?
It's JL's guess.
My guess, I think.
JL's guess.
Was it? Oh. First touchdown of the season. Is it Lazard?
It is not Alan Lazard. Coop, you got a guess?
Was it Tyler Schlockett?
It was not Tyler Schlockett. That is a good guess, though.
Yeah.
That is a good guess. One moment while I pull up this next clue. You guys got some players in mind that you're narrowing it down to?
Yeah.
Nah.
Nah.
Is it David Njoku?
It is not David Njoku. Here is your next clue. I am leading my team in targets for the 3rd consecutive season.
Ooh, that's a good clue.
Good season.
Good clue. Jail's guess?
It's
my
Jail's
guess.
Yeah.
Jail's above.
Jail's above.
There it goes.
Let's go with first touchdown of the season. Was it Cooper? Amari Cooper?
It is not
2
Amari
touchdowns
Cooper.
on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Coop, you got a guess?
No.
Should have told me that before I answered.
Is it Jacoby Myers?
It is Jacoby Myers, Coop.
Go
Jacoby
Pats,
Myers is absolutely correct. giving Coop a 3-1 lead in here. Albert in here saying it's got to be Jacoby, and Dustin with the Jacoby Myers guess as well. It was the target share leader clue that gave it to both these guys. I think the clue came, or the guesses came in after that one. I was just fact checking that it was the last 3 years, not the last 4 years. I couldn't remember when that streak started right there. We got time for one more. Coop, you're going to go first on this one. JL, this is pride points right here. This is just to I have
no pride.
Well, it's your opportunity to earn some. Coop, here's your first clue. I completed 20 passes on 26 attempts.
20 on 26, man, that's pretty efficient. 20 on 26. Was it? Dude, I was just gonna throw a random name out there. This is how you could have told that I just was throwing a random name out. I almost said Derek Carr.
Also, sorry,
he plays tonight.
Keith, I'm gonna fight you. He completed 20 passes on 36 attempts.
20 on 36. That's not efficient.
I was gonna
literally
say
every day.
Super fish, 20 out of 26.
Yeah, it keeps
20,
like 20,
36.
30. What's the difference? Like,
this guy's awesome. Yeah, 20
you
of
can just
36.
round down to 26. No problem.
Was it Justin Herbert?
It was not Justin Herbert. Dale, you got to guess.
Josh Allen.
It's not Josh Allen. I threw one interception.
Is it Kenny Pickett?
It's not Kenny Pickett.
Oh, he threw 52 times. God damn it, Andy.
Is it Baker?
It is Baker Mayfield, JL. You got that absolutely correct. 20 for 36, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception.
That question was worth 3 too, right?
That question was worth at least 2. So we're just going to call this a tie, 3 to 3 after that one.
Don't you dare.
You guys have
I want no pity points.
Don't you
I
give
want
me
no
hope.
don't give me second place trophy.
That one was worth -1.
I spit on your shoe.
What we should do with this game is like after it starts worth 5 points, then after every clue, it goes down the amount that it's worth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like if you get it on the first clue, you get 5 points. Second, you get 4, 3, 2, 1, etc.
That's a way better score.
You know what I was thinking for this game too? What if next time we have Keith do actual stats that are real? And just not like completely wrong and made up. Can I open the chat now?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, you guys can open the chat.
I missed
what if instead of that we just have Keith do it all by memory? Like we just have him watch the games and throw together fantasy detectives based on what he thought happened. But they have to be number statistics. Like he has to give us actual numbers, but he's not allowed to look them up. He just has to watch and create the fantasy.
I like that
detective.
idea.
That might have been what he did this week.
0%
we should do a segment like that. That's like, here's what I felt happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I felt Justin Fields attempted 3 passes. That's what I felt happened this week. You know,
Joe Burrow got sacked 49 times is what I felt happened.
Sometimes it feels
in
like
yesterday's game. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
got the chat's back open. What's up, Hogs? Smash that fun button.
Hogs.
Jump in there. If you haven't yet, dude, jump in there. Can you give us a 5-star rating, please? You know, brings more people to the show, more visibility, gets more hogs in the hog house. Let's go.
The hog house.
Hogs in the hog house. Dustin, and you're saying I completed some passes out of some high number of attempts. That's incredible, Dustin. That's what we're looking for in a quarterback usually, is one that can complete some of those passes. While we're talking about Baker, I just wanted to ask you guys, is there any hope for Baker Mayfield, or are you giving up on this Baker Mayfield and Carolina experiment?
You know,
what is that, dude? It's like some Scrooge noise.
Jill, honestly, I fully agree. Like I 100% agree with that analysis.
Kind of right take, yeah.
That's what I gotta say about that.
I don't know what's going to happen with Baker Mayfield. Maybe they bench it for Sam Darnold, but like, what's the upside in doing that? Then it's just Sam Darnold starting at quarterback.
I will tell you, I think over at Fantasy Alarm, John and Pemba is the quarterback guy, the quarterback whisperer, and he has always disliked Baker Mayfield, and he's doing his victory lap on this one because Baker's looked pretty bad.
He's looked pretty awful over there. Guys, coming up, we're going to keep on breaking down these Sunday games and talk a little bit of Monday Night Football as well. Then joining us on the show is our friend Juan Carlos Blanco from RotoWire. Talk some Monday Night Football. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
It's Sports Talk. Sports Talk done better.
Coop, we did have a question for you. Get into Game wants to ask if you could create an all tight end team. Like, who would be your top tight ends? Like your favorite guys that you would put on your all tight end team?
Or does he want me to do an all tight end team where I fill out all the positions? Because I could do that.
That could
too.
work as well. Yeah, you
All
want
right.
to do that?
So wide receiver 1, split end would be Kyle Pitts.
Checks out. I knew you were going to say Kyle Pitts.
Now on the other side, I would have Jimmy Graham.
Okay.
At the actual tight end slot, inline tight end, I'd have Rob Gronkowski.
Okay.
In the slot, I would have Tony Gonzalez, who under Chan Gailey for the Chiefs back in mid 2010s, he led the league in routes run from the slot. Now at quarterback, I would have Logan Thomas, a converted quarterback that now plays tight end. Right at running back, give me Jonnu Smith, a guy that has multiple rushing touchdowns. He could bring it up and down the field. At left tackle, give me Michael Pruitt, one of the premier blocking tight ends in the league. At right tackle, give me Nick Boyle.
Are you done this all off the top of your head?
Of course. At guard,
so impressed.
like we got to fill out the line with the best blocking tight ends that I can think of. So actually at center, give me a guy that's been a captain on a team because you need a strong, smart player at center. Give me Mercedes Lewis, a guy that's been in the league for a long time, one of the premier blockers. At guard, you're gonna want a little speed, a little heft. So I'll take a current guy, Albert Akwe-Bunam. I'll put him 6'6", 260, put him at left guard, have him do some swing routes, have him run around. At right guard, I'll take give me Jason Witten. Just give me a big monster to throw in.
Get him out of the booth.
Throw down the run blocking. And
can we put this in like a graphic?
As my fullback move tight end, I'm going to go with a guy that's played a bunch of fullback. He's played a bunch of move tight end. Very underrated. Give me Chris Cooley, former Redskins tight end, move tight end, Chris Cooley. So that would be my all-time tight end offense. If you need
now radio personality.
I am
in the DMV.
I am so impressed. Not just like you didn't just pull out those names and you didn't stop after the positional guys. You said we're talking O-line here too because that's an important part of the offense. Coop, I could not put together a better all tight end team right now.
Now put it full depth chart together.
You'd be insane to do it.
Punter.
I feel like a maniac just having done that. But
who's the punter and who's kicking field goals?
Punter easily is going to be Algie Crumpler because right off the top of my head,
I've ever heard.
Kind of sounds like punter. Seems like he could boot the ball.
Crumpler the punter.
Crumpler punter. And then for kicker, we just want to have as many all-time greats on the roster. So give me Antonio Gates.
Better Sports Network. It's Sports Talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Show here on Better Sports Network. I apologize. I thought I was muted over there, and I'm just singing along to our intro music. And then all of a sudden, I see JL's face just like break as I'm going bum, 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 bum. JL, you're a little muted with your laughing over there.
Oh, I'm dying.
I was like, why is JL laughing so hard? And then immediately I had the realization, like, they can hear me. Now I know. Now I know. Now I know. That's when you can start hearing me. Is right then during that song. I'll be careful not to rip any during that time period from here going forward. Woo! Awesome. That was a good one.
That got me good. I just did not expect to hear you in that moment, and then to hear the sound of you singing to the song. Oh boy, that got me good.
Oh, fun. We've got, I want to remind everyone that coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern time, here on Better Sports Network, we're giving away a full-size, authentic NFL autographed by New York Giants legend Lawrence Taylor helmet.
Hey.
I said helmet in the wrong spot in that sentence. But 11 a.m. Eastern time on Moose and Keith. Make sure you guys are tuned in at 11 a.m. That's all you got to do. Get in there, smash the fun button. Someone's going to win.
Yo, it looks so nice. I saw it on Twitter.
Defense Jerry Rice, right? Like that's what DeMarcus. That's what Lawrence Taylor is. He's like the GOAT, right? Like Aaron Donald maybe making a run at it right now, but as far as I'm concerned, he's the defensive GOAT.
I'm with you. That would be such a sick piece to add to your collection. Like that would be the star of my collection if I got added over here.
It's like the matte black too. Those matte black helmets.
It would immediately become the coolest thing I own. What's the coolest thing you guys own? I don't really have anything. Maybe this grimace.
I was gonna go. I think Craig sends us the coolest things we have.
Yeah, like everything I have is from Craig. Just maybe this Grimace Lego car. Pretty cool. Shoddily made. Look at this thing, dude.
Not many people can say that they have that, you know.
Not me and like two other weirdos.
You know what? Most people won't like Coop. That's pretty legit. Where did that come from? Is that like a Happy Meal toy that is now
from
a collector's
eBay, right?
item?
I think all of these are Happy Meal toys. But like, dude, look at it. It literally looks like they were just like, what do we have for leftover pieces? All right, just paint a Grimace on the front. Like, look at this thing. This thing blows. Like, what is this, dude? This awesome. This is like the car you make when you're 6 years old, dude.
Yeah. And all you have are like just regular rectangle Legos.
Exactly. Yeah. Like that thing is trash, dude.
I think this, Coop, you'll like this. This fountain pen is probably the coolest thing I own because it is a retractable fountain pen. So it has it's nib. If you don't know, fountain pens have nibs and they have to stay moist, so capped for them to work. So in order to make a retractable fountain pen, the engineering that goes into making this nib so it can click in and out is unbelievable. That's probably the coolest thing.
No saying moist nib on the show. Yeah, dude, I'll be removed in the chat. Moist nibs. Hey, I actually was going to text you the other day. Do you have any recommendations for? This might be blasphemy in your community. I don't know. I'm not in those Reddit streets, but do you have any recommendations on like rather than like fountain pens? Fountain pens with the tips there, like the rollerball ones or the ballpoints?
Whenever it comes to non-fountain pens, my preferred pen is the Uniball fine point pen, not a roller ball, nice. But it's like a fine point pen. That's my go-to. They're relatively cheap. The black cap is really nice too with the metal clip. Those are my preferred. There's the
they make like really nice ballpoints.
They do make really nice ballpoints. Absolutely.
Yeah,
like I have a nice Parker ballpoint pen that I really like. My dad gave it to me. It used to be his. I see in here, we got a question from Keith. Want to know if we have any collectibles. I think he meant sports collectibles, and we're over here going on about pens. My coolest jersey is probably not even hung up behind me, though. I've got an autographed William the Refrigerator Perry jersey, Chicago Bears William Perry jersey. That is probably my coolest collectible. That's sitting in my closet. I need to get that framed and hung up. But Clemson legend, defensive legend, and legend of fun in the NFL. Know what I mean? Like, he was just a fun dude. He's one of my favorite players. And I met him one time.
I got some pretty cool bottles of bourbon. The problem is somebody keeps drinking them. So they're expiring assets. But I do have like, a 15-year Pappy Van Winkle. Got a couple. I got a George T. Stagg. A couple decent herbs.
There we go.
George T. Stagg. Yeah.
I love that, Coop. That was like, you're on your way. That was a dad joke right there. That was like the class. Like the waiter comes out to the table and they're like. They're like, oh, well, my food just disappeared. I must have dropped it or something like that. Like,
and like a completely clean plate, and you're like, I didn't like it.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the same category right there. My whiskey keeps disappearing. JL, I see that Higgins jersey behind you. Is that your favorite collectible, or do you have another collectible that you like?
Probably. I got my Higgins jersey, and then right here we got the Justin Tucker signed mini helmet, which is pretty sweet. That's newer. Just got that one recently.
You know what? The coolest collectible I ever had that I gave away to a friend for his birthday because I thought it would mean more to him than me. And I'm probably right, but now I regret that I don't own this thing. In the 4th grade at a Relay for Life event, I entered a raffle to win a Pete Rose autographed baseball. And I won said raffle, had a Pete Rose autographed baseball, then gave it to my friend for his 16th birthday because I thought he would like it more than I would because I wasn't a baseball fan. But gave away a Pete Rose autographed baseball over to my friend.
That hurts.
Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Baseball take.
Also, I see Keith in there saying Pete Rose autographs are worthless. He signs too much. Is that true? I don't know anything about. I'm less in tune on the baseball collectibles side than on the
sign slut.
He does sign a ton, and he also likes to. I've noticed he also likes to write like little jokes and stuff on the balls. Like I've seen a lot of signatures that say like sorry I bet on baseball, or like, like just like a bunch of different like little stupid things.
I like Scott Fish says, I have an autographed Joe Webb card. Him and Josh Allen are the only two to win Tuesday night NFL games in the Super Bowl era. So you got two people to win a Tuesday night game in that Super Bowl era.
Top tier.
Pretty cool over there. And Tommy,
Ernie said he charges extra for those messages to write on the ball. Is that true?
Dude, if the Earn Dog said it, I trust.
It's gotta be true.
The Earn Dog says explicitly, and I don't trust a single thing that Keith says.
That's crazy.
That's wild. Not crazy that Coop doesn't trust Keith, right? Crazy that he charges extra for those little messages.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
if Earn Dog says it, there's no question that it's 100,000% true. 100,000%.
Makes sense. I'm loving the idea that like Pete Rose signs so much that they're now worth less. Know what I mean? Like it seems impossible for one human to sign so many things in their time that there is an abundance,
the market,
right? That they're like he has created a surplus of Pete Rose signatures. Like, what percentage of this man's life does he spend signing things then if there's truly a surplus? Like, I could create a surplus of my signature pretty quickly. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I sign one thing, there's a surplus of my signature compared to the market. But like for
Pete
what I've
Rose, always said? I always wish that whenever you die, you get to like go up and just see all of the statistics. Like this is whatever afterlife you're in, you get to see all the statistics of your life. Everything like just menial or trivial. Like how many times did you clip your toenails? How many times did you scratch the top of your head?
How many liters of Diet Coke did you drink?
How many times did you sign your signature? It's crazy.
Wow. Be a decent amount.
I want to know the total length that my toenails grew in my life. Know what I mean? Like I want
15 miles.
I want to know the distance of my toenail growth. Like what?
17 miles of toenails. Dibs on that band name.
Tommy and you said, how many times have you seen Nacho Libre? Yeah, we could keep track of that.
How many hours have you spent watching Nacho Libre, dude? That's a sad number, Simon. That number for me is 0.
Okay, you can say that's sad, but whenever you see Nacho Libre, you're gonna regret saying that's sad because that movie is a treat. It's a pleasure to watch.
I'll watch it when you send me a screenshot of your TV with Shawshank Redemption on it.
Sorry, JL. Anything else we had on the schedule for today? Any other work getting done? I got to watch Shawshank Redemption as soon as this is over. So
that's fair.
Yeah,
solely so we can watch Nacho Libre.
3 hours of watching it, and then like at least a half hour of emotional recovery time.
That's wild.
For me or for you after Nacho Libre?
Probably both, dude. Probably both.
Scott said, if your answer is over 92 minutes, your life took a weird turn for Nacho Libre.
Even I feel like even making it the full 92 is an accomplishment. What did it get in Rotten Tomatoes? Nacho Libre.
I bet it got a high score. It's like the Eagles this season of movies. I think people are still underestimating it a little bit. It's a little bit underrated, but it is such a good movie. Jack Black
got a 40
in there. A 40 on Rotten Tomatoes. Well, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't even know what they're talking about.
Audience slightly better. 54.
Oh no, that's not good.
Well, sometimes art isn't appreciated, Coop, whenever it's created is what goes on. A true artist isn't always appreciated in his prime.
Right after the show, Simon's gonna be in there up in those comments, dude, being like, this movie is art, like trying to juice the score a little bit, dude. What's the worst movie you guys have seen?
Now You See Me Too. No question in my mind. That is the number one worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
Open Water.
God. What'd you say? Which one?
Open Water, I think it's called.
Oh, dude, that movie.
It's the one where they go scuba diving and get left out at sea.
Worst movie by far that I've seen the entirety of is Speed 2.
Speed 2.
That movie is so bad.
I didn't know that they needed a second one. Is it the same concept? Just happens to him
Keanu
again?
Reeves not even in it. Yeah, it's the same movie except they're on a boat. Dude, and Willem Dafoe plays the bad guy, and it's like it's worth it watching it. It's worth watching it just to see how insane Willem Dafoe is, dude. Yeah, but
oh my god,
Keanu's not even in the movie. It's so bad. That movie got a 4 on Rotten Tomatoes.
A 4.
The other movie that I think is up there, but it's so bad that it's almost fun to watch, is Jaws: The Revenge. Have you seen Jaws: The Revenge? It's a direct sequel to Jaws 2, but it came out after Jaws 3D and it ignores what happened in Jaws 3D. So like they're like, this one doesn't count. It's the one where the shark follows the family across the world to target them specifically at a beach, and the shark like roars in this movie. So like the shark makes like an audible like roar in the movie, and he's sentient enough to follow the family around the world to attack them at another beach. Like
that's so
the
good.
Science in that movie is like, it's so bad it's good.
Do yourself a favor at some point. Go read a couple reviews for Baby Geniuses 2. They crack me up. They crack me up, dude. I'm on the Rotten Tomatoes right now. Dude, one of the reviews. This is the entire review. Excruciating. Like, dude, Baby Geniuses 2, dude. Yo,
Someone went to their Blockbuster, rented Baby Geniuses 2, went home, loaded that bad boy up, and then was like, "Wow, this sucks."
This movie has a straight up 0 on Rotten Tomatoes. Yo, one of the top user review. What in the holy mother of God did I just watch?
That's so good.
Was that for the Colts Broncos game or Baby Geniuses 2?
Same. The same. Excruciating. Dude, another review. Unspeakably ghastly.
Unspeakably ghastly.
Dude, yeah, Baby Geniuses.
To use the word ghastly to describe a movie, you really had to hate that movie.
Those are from real. Those two I just read are not from users. Those are real critics, dude. Like the guy that said excruciating works for the Chicago Reader. Like the reviews are fucking amazing.
Scott Fish said, Simon, but Now You See Me 2 answered all our questions from Now You See Me 1.
Dude, how have you seen Now You See Me 2, but you've never seen Goodfellas? Are you kidding me?
That is a mistake. You're right. I say to this day, I don't regret most choices in my life because they led me to where I am, right? Like they led me to where I am. They led me to the person I became. Most of the mistakes I made had a lesson learned with it. The only thing in my life I truly regret, like have true regret over, is paying $17 to go see Now You See Me 2 in movie theaters. I will never get that time or that money back, and I gained no life lessons from it, no experience. Like there's nothing I'm a better person for because I made that mistake. I'm just $17 poorer, and I'm gonna like have an hour and a half of my life that I will never get back. That's an hour and a half of my life that whenever I'm dying, I have to think about that I spent it watching Now You See Me 2.
Dude, that movie came out in 2016. You were an adult when you made that decision.
I know.
And it's the gift that keeps on giving because you're still talking about it. You're still giving it time.
God, it's just awful. It's absolutely awful. Guys, we have our friend Juan Carlos Blanco coming up shortly, and we're going to preview this Monday Night Football game for you. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network.
Collectible moments.
Everybody up here at U.S. Cellular. Sox 5 runs, 6 hits. The 2-1 to Bartlett. Swing shot to short. Ramirez has it, throws. Burley picks the perfect game. His second no-hitter. People going crazy here at U.S. Cellular. He's mobbed by his teammates. A perfecto.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. Right out, 1 second left. What a play by Bird. Bird stole the impounding pass. Laid it up to DJ. DJ laid it up to him. And Boston has a 1-point lead with 1 second left.
Out of the I formation on first down. Peterson the carry, looking for running room on the right side, has it to the 25, across the 30, across the 35, and out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Adrian Peterson has just gone over 2,000 yards for the season, the 7th man in NFL history to cross the 2,000-yard mark.
Well, a thundering ovation for number 66, Mario Lemieux.
Just the emotion I'm sure Mario is feeling in this place. You don't appreciate something until it's gone, and it's so great to have Mario back.
Yager turns around. Over to Lemieux. Mario Lemieux, his first goal in his comeback here tonight at the Mellon Arena. And the Penguins lead 3-0, and he is smiling like a butcher's dog. Mario Lemieux.
Oh, the Bears is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. The Bears have scored.
but the bands are out on the field.
Pearson moves in front of the STP Dodge. Petty comes back to the inside. They almost touch as they move down low in the banking. They're going to be side by side as they exit the bank and head for the finish line.
Richard Petty goes back in front. They both spin. They're in the wall. Petty is sliding, slamming into the wall. He's coming down toward the finish line. Will he make it? Pearson is still running. The winner is car number 21. An amazing finish. Richard Petty's car demolished in the front end, as well as car number 21. An unbelievable finish, a terrible crash. David Pearson has won the Daytona 500. Leitner catches, comes down, dribbles, shoots, scores! Christian Leitner has hit the bucket at the buzzer! Pitched by Downey, swinging, there's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7-15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
The most valuable player is Magic Johnson. 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists. He starts at center, plays forward and guard, and leads the Los Angeles Lakers to a world championship 123-107 over Philadelphia.
Whether you collect sports memorabilia, fantasy championships, or winning bet slips, talk about it on Bettor Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Bettor Sports Network. Joining us right now, we've got Juan Carlos Blanco coming up to talk some Monday Night Football with us. Juan Carlos Blanco is an analyst who covers the MLB, NFL, NBA, CFL, and USFL over at RotoWire and the Game Day. Juan, thank you so much for joining us today, my man.
Thanks a lot for having me, guys. I know I've had some technical issues on my end, so I appreciate your patience and glad to be here.
Happy to have you, man.
Absolutely. We got a fun game going on tonight. The Kansas City Chiefs and the, I almost said Oakland Raiders. They are the Las Vegas Raiders facing off tonight. After a bunch of lower totals this week, I feel like the totals set by Vegas were a little bit lower. 1 p.m. games outperformed. This is the only one above 50 points. We're sitting at 51.5 points, a 7.5 point spread in favor of the Chiefs. Juan, I know you like to put out articles with some of your favorite bets for these games. We got this Monday Night Football game coming up. There's a lot of exciting pieces in it. Do you have any prop plays or bets that you're really tuning in on tonight?
Yeah, I had a few actually just diving into it last night that I really leaning toward a pretty much a high scoring game, at least on the Kansas City side. I really liked, first of all, Mahomes. I do like him to have a big game. I mean, I was looking at just what he did last year in both games against the first one. I mean, he kind of just blew it out of the water. 5 touchdown passes, I think, in that first meeting last year with Vegas. And although he may not have Smith-Schuster now that, he hamstring injury, I guess, popped up on Saturday for him, so he might be limited. But the way he's been able to kind of just keep his stride without Tyreek Hill this year has been really impressive so far. For the most part, they had a little bit of trouble in the Colts game, but overall, he's just been really impressive in the sense that he really hasn't missed much of a beat and kind of acclimated to these new guys pretty quickly. So I like it on the higher scoring side, at least for KC. Like I said, I don't know about that 7. I think it's a 7.5 point spread right now. They definitely have the capability to cover it, and they certainly blew that out of the water last year both times. So I think that's in play as well. But I like a couple parlays, for example, like the Chiefs money line with the Mahomes over the yardage of like 290. I think he's at or 291.5 in a lot of places. To throw over 2.5 touchdowns, I like that as well for a couple of reasons that the metrics seem to be pointing me in that direction.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes right now in FanDuel's. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Coop.
It's funny. Patrick Mahomes is good. Tyreek Hill is also good. Like, we sometimes you think like when you break these two guys up, it's like, okay, one of them's got to be the guy, and the other guy, was only good because the other guy.
Yeah.
I guess it turns out both guys can be good.
Yeah, they're both incredible players. The FanDuel Sportsbook right now is Patrick Mahomes at 279.5 passing yards. So it sounds like you'd be smashing that over, Warren.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And if that's the case, I mean, I think for some reason I had the 290 number in mind. But, yeah, absolutely, I think I would. I mean, the Raiders really haven't been tested the way they're going to be tested against him. And he's been able to adjust to whatever he's had to deal with in terms of personnel losses and so forth. Travis Kelce had a huge game last year, the first game against Vegas as well. So I can definitely see him, stepping in and stepping up if Smith-Schuster is down. And the rookie Sky Moore is there, McCole Hardman. He's got plenty of guys to kind of pivot to if he needs to.
So Patrick Mahomes' passing yards so far through these first 4 weeks, he's only hit that total one time, and it was in week 1, 360 yards in week 1. All the other totals are below that number, the 275 number that we're looking at for this game. But it sounds like you like this matchup against this Raiders defense. Sounds exploitable, and hopefully the Raiders can get something going on their side to force Patrick Mahomes to have to keep slinging that ball around.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny with Andy Reid and Mahomes, and that's not even always necessary for the opponent to be, clicking on all cylinders for them to keep throwing anyway. But it does definitely help that cause. And, on that end of things, I mean, I liked a couple of Raiders props as well that I had written up. One of them was just Davante Adams as an anytime touchdown scorer. That's a good bet pretty much any week that he's on the field. But in addition to that, and looking a little deeper into the numbers, the Chiefs have given up, at least going into week 5's games, they had given up the most red zone receiving touchdowns of any team, 10 touchdowns overall to receivers in general as well. And Adams is already, unsurprisingly in the red zone, he's already a usage monster there. I think 13 targets already through the first 4 games. So the last couple of years in Green Bay, just for perspective, he had 28 apiece, I think, in each of those 2 seasons. So he's already well on pace to kind of blow past that as well. So I'm thinking Adams as an anytime touchdown scorer at plus money is a great prop to go with here. And Josh Jacobs, I like his receiving yardage prop too, just based on the fact that you've got a run defense in Kansas City that's actually pretty good. They've been shutting down the run at a league best rate in terms of yards per game allowed going into week 5. So I think they're going to have to pivot a lot to maybe some short passes instead of the run. Last year, I believe it was 40 yards total for Jacobs on the ground on 16 carries in the 2 games against Kansas City. So he didn't get very far, but he had 10 catches, I think, overall or thereabouts. So I like that receiving yardage prop. I think it's like at 18.5 or something like that when I looked at it last night.
Yep, 18.5 is exactly where it is.
Frank Clark, Chris Jones, rookie George Karlaftis, first round pick. I mean, like, pretty sneaky good. And not to mention, like, the best run defense in this league is a good offense, right? Like, the running is the luxury of the winning team in many cases. So if the Chiefs offense is putting up points, it makes it tough to run the ball.
Yeah. They've actually faced, I think it was like the least rush attempts. So you've got that asterisk, I guess, next to that number, but like you said, they have plenty of talent. They've got the speed on defense, and they're going to go ahead and they've got the body of work already showing that they can shut down Jacobs pretty good. So I don't see any reason why that probably wouldn't happen again. And what sometimes the best substitute for a coach when the running game is just kind of being slamming into a brick wall is to pivot to that short pass, which is more or less the equivalent or can be the equivalent. So that's where I'm leaning toward that, because that's an easy yardage prop. I mean, Jacobs, I think the last 2 games, 30 yards apiece. I think it's been the identical receiving line the last 2 games, 5 for 30 or 5 for 31 or something like that. So he's been heavily involved in the passing game as the season has started to unfold here with in McDaniels' system.
And I see Timmy saying, I need Josh Jacobs to go off for Scott Fishbowl. So you like him to get that 18.5 yards, but talking about this tougher run defense, you're expecting the Chiefs to score at will. Do you think from like a fantasy perspective, Josh Jacobs is going to have a good game, or you're just liking this one prop for him?
Yeah, more so leaning on the receiving prop here, just based on what the numbers are telling us and based on what he did last year. I think I see him having a tough time on the ground, of course. Although for fantasy purposes, as we know, a couple of carries near the goal line can kind of resolve the efficiency issues for your fantasy score and get you a couple touchdowns and kind of prop it up. But I see them going more, like I said, to Adams, more so in the red zone when they get down there. That matchup, for whatever reason, against the Chiefs secondary, which isn't a bad secondary, but down inside the 20, they've just had trouble stopping receivers and stopping the passing game. So I think that's definitely, obviously, something that's Hills' radar and Carr's radar, and I think they're going in that direction.
Yeah. Coop, you want to play the game that we always like to play with these games? How far down the list of first touchdown score would you be willing
this is my
to
favorite.
go?
My favorite game.
We
If
look
you
at
have
the
it in
first
front of
touchdown
you.
score odds. Yeah. Go down that
You pull up
list. Go ahead, Coop. Sorry.
I would say you pull up the first touchdown scorer list, right? The odds where it's like Kelsey's plus 600, Clyde Edwards-Helaire plus 750, and you see how far down that list you can create a narrative for somebody to actually score. So at the very bottom, it's like Tyron Johnson, Jesper Horsted, probably not going to happen, but somewhere in there's a potential, a lot of times plus 4,000, plus 5,000 that could happen. So Juan, when you take a look at that list, how deep can you go on that list and still create a narrative? I mean, there's always the Las Vegas defense or Kansas City defense. That's all no matter what team it is, that one's always in play. But when you take a look at that list, is there anybody down there where you say, hey, you know what? I might be willing to sprinkle a little money on this guy to potentially sneak one in, right?
Right. I'm trying. I'm actually
a second to take a look there.
There's some. Yeah. I'm pulling that up as we speak. So it's funny you mentioned Jesper Horsted. I believe Moreau is questionable, so he actually may be backing up Waller today. So that might not be the craziest idea on a crazy play action, down near the end zone or something like that. You never know, because I think I think Moreau may be questionable for this game. But in looking
converted
at that,
wide receiver.
He looks like a tight end.
Yeah, I know, but he played wide receiver at Princeton.
Yeah. I mean, guys like that are the type that sometimes when you have you think that other team, especially a division opponent, really knows you well, really knows your tendencies well. Even though in this case with the Raiders' new coaching staff this year, but you kind of down near the goal line, you have to get creative sometimes. In close quarters, it's already tough enough to score as it is. Sometimes you basically have to get somebody involved that you normally wouldn't, to get the defense off guard. I mean, that would be a great guy. But in looking further, I'm looking at the list now. Here's a guy who, in preseason we heard plenty about, and if Smith-Schuster's out, this could be a guy that comes into play near the goal line too for Kansas City, or from any distance really. Justin Watson. He made some noise in the preseason. He did he's a good back from his Buccaneers days. He had a lot of potential. He just couldn't really break through on the depth chart there. But he's an athletic guy. He can get downfield, as we saw in preseason. And he had a couple big catches downfield. So it's not a guy that you just have to, hope for something from close range as far as a score. He's able to kind of hit from anywhere on the field. And I think he's just looking at I think it was at Caesar Sportsbook here. I think it's like plus 2,800 for him right now for anytime touchdown score. So there's a guy. I think he's actually last on the list.
On FanDuel, you get $5,000 on FanDuel.
Yeah. So,
sorry to interrupt that. On FanDuel, you can get plus 5,000 on Justin Watson.
Plus 5,000.
Fight your bookie level. That's $100 to win 5,000. Yeah.
There's a guy that I would roll with because it's actually not as outlandish as as the price may imply.
The other one that jumps out at me, Tommy actually mentioned it in the chat. Like if we're talking just long shots down here, though, Zamir White is at plus 6,000 to be the first touchdown scorer on the FanDuel Sportsbook. They are starting to work him in a little bit more. That's one that jumps out. And then the other one a little bit higher up. We've seen Jody Fortson do it twice this season. 1 catch, 1 reception, 1 touchdown. They get down there. They know Travis Kelce is going to be heavily targeted. Maybe they chuck the ball to Jody Fortson, start the game off, get him in the end zone. Plus 3,100 to be that first-time touchdown score. So those are the two that stand out to me, Zamir White and Jody Fortson. What about you, Coop? Any on there?
Go big, bro. Jakob Johnson.
Plus 14,000. I don't even
got
know
1 carry on the season.
And the next one's going to be for a touchdown. Absolutely.
I don't know if I can go that deep, dude. I do like the Jesper Horsted call. That'll be a fun one if he does hit it. Plus 6,000. $10 wins you $600. Kind of interesting. Or if you're Keith, you just bet for there to never be a touchdown and for it to be the worst game ever.
Yeah. Juan, what do you think about this? What do you think about the person who bets on a no touchdown game? Like what does that say about the mentality of a person if that's the bet they want to make? No touchdown scored. We may know someone who did that. What game was it during the Colts Broncos
this Thursday
game?
and it hit.
Thursday and it hit. That's a miserable bet, right? No touchdowns to score in a game.
Yeah, it gives you. I mean, it's usually with any of these bets, you're rooting for some kind of offense. Obviously, in most cases, which is by nature an optimistic way to view football. So it is kind of a gloom and doom bet. But funny enough, I mean, this Thursday's matchup would have been one of the few times that you can kind of pick your spots and do something like that, because it really, from a pure betting perspective and from a pure profit perspective, there are moments in the season where you can kind of feel it. If you're tracking a team's offense's struggles and you kind of see the matchup, it doesn't line up well. And both of the teams, for whatever reason, are either in a tough environment, maybe late in the season when weather's also a factor, things like that. That can actually be a prudent way to go, just from a pure sharp betting perspective, once in a blue moon. Although in today's NFL, obviously, it's almost designed to prevent that from ever happening. And funny enough, when it does happen, for example, as you're saying on Thursday night, it happens with like two marquee offseason quarterback additions at the helm for each team. Guys that have accomplished, whose list of accomplishments is a mile long in the NFL. And that's what ends up happening, just because, there's so many unique aspects to, I guess, the NFL offense and being able to score consistently. And when you've got, new coaching staffs and you've got new players around the quarterback, whatever the case might be, a combination of everything in that situation, for example, with Ryan and Wilson, you can end up sometimes with just an inefficient game. And obviously with the two defenses also that are really talented as well, and in a tough place to play over there at Empower Field. So,
yeah, that's the bet you make if you have to go to a wedding or something and you can't watch the game and you just spitefully, you're like, I hope there's no touchdowns. I hope the game sucks.
Absolutely right. You're just
before we let you go, it's
right. Yeah. If you can't watch the game, bet no touchdowns and just hope that you don't miss anything.
That's what Keith does. As a Jets fan, Keith is just spiteful. He's just spiteful. He's like, if I can't have fun, no one can. I suffered for years. Now you're all going to suffer. Juan, before we let you go, it sounds like you think the Chiefs are going to win this game based on the bets that you were making, the props that you like. But what is your score prediction for this Chiefs-Raiders Monday Night Football game tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the end, the Raiders are going to keep it more competitive than they did last year in those two games. I think that it's still going to come down to just Mahomes kind of carrying this, elevating, I guess, the Chiefs above that situation to the point where they still end up with I would say a 34 to 21 type of win, double digits, 34-24 at the closest, I think, because in the end, I think Kansas City still has enough weapons. And what's happened, I think, with Vegas so far, we didn't really talk too much about Carr, but he's still clearly adjusting to McDaniels' system. In looking up the numbers yesterday, he's got the lowest completion percentage of his career so far that he's carrying right now. I think it's at 61%. Average yards per attempt are at 6.7. That's the lowest since his rookie season. So he's still getting his feet wet in the offense, even with Adams there and everything. He does get Hunter Renfrow back tonight, which is going to help for sure. And Mac Hollins seems to really have kind of just blossomed into kind of a mid-career renaissance, I guess you could say, or a mid-career breakout for him when he got a chance here to be the number 2 guy for the last couple of weeks. But we'll see kind of as he falls back into a third role, probably technically with Renfrow there, how well will he adjust to that? I don't know that they're still going to be at peak efficiency by any stretch yet. I think that's going to take until about the midway through the season. Then I think you see the Raiders really start clicking on offense. But for tonight, facing a tough defense at Arrowhead, I'm looking at 34-24 as kind of their closest that they get, before they lose.
34-24 for the Chiefs. Juan, thank you so much again for coming up with us. Everybody watching, make sure you go check out our friend Juan Carlos Blanco's work over on Twitter, and you can find him on Twitter at JCBlanco22. And check out his work on RotoWire as well. That's where you can find most of his articles. Juan, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy Monday Night Football, and thanks again for coming on, my man.
Thanks again for everything, guys. It was a real pleasure. Thank you. Hope to see you soon.
Have a great one. Koopa, how are you feeling about this game tonight? What's your score prediction for the Raiders-Chiefs game tonight?
Well, I saw Tommy in the chat going, branching out a little bit. He thinks the Raiders are going to win. Interesting, Tommy. No, interesting call by him. The biggest Raider fan that I've ever seen says the Raiders win tonight, but I'm going to have to pick the Chiefs to win. I think that I like what Juan said there about the Raiders keeping it close, maybe hitting the over, which would be fun. But I think that Chiefs somewhere in the high 20s, maybe like 28, and the Raiders maybe 25. I think something like that would be pretty reasonable.
28-25. I got a feeling. I just got like a vibe, and it's not one that I'm going to bet on, but I think the Raiders are going to pull up this victory tonight. I think this is they're sitting at 1-3. I don't think this team is as bad as their record looks. It's a division game. We've seen weirder things happen. I'm going to take the Raiders to win this game, and I think it's going to have to be a little bit lower scoring in order for that to happen, right? I think the Raiders are going to have to get Josh Jacobs going. So I'm going to say that the Raiders win 21-17 in this game tonight. It's going to be 21-17 for the Raiders.
Damn. I'll take the Chiefs in this game, and I'll say Chiefs win 31-27. I think this ends up being a good game.
31-27 Chiefs for JL. I'm writing all these down. And Coop, you said 28-25 Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
28-25 Chiefs is what Coop said over there. I saw
Wall in here said, hi from Bali. It's almost 10 p.m. here. Whoa.
Well, you fancy little devil. What you doing out there?
Bali, you fancy man.
Is that full 12 hours?
It's
almost 10 a.m. here.
Huh, that's wild. Clocks are so crazy, time zones or whatever. We got Hal in the chat saying, I'm down 40 going against Waller. I have no one going, so there's still hope, right? Yeah. Surely there could be a 40-point stack correction and Waller scores 0 points. You absolutely got this, Hal. I did see a comment in the chat earlier asking us about that hit on Tom Brady that was called roughing the passer. I know we're wrapping up here, but I just wanted to talk about it. Yeah, Grady Jarrett with a just textbook bringing the quarterback to the ground, but was called with roughing the passer, kept that Tampa Bay Buccaneers drive alive, preventing the Falcons from getting the ball back with a chance to win that game. Did you guys see that roughing the passer call? Do you think that is just them protecting Brady? Like, that's what people are screaming, right? They're screaming like, if it was any other quarterback, they wouldn't have called that. Like, do you think that's the case? That's what we're seeing there?
No, I think they do with Aaron Rodgers too.
I wasn't in the pro shop. I have to pull that one up because I wasn't in the pro shop for that one.
Yeah, they do that with quarterbacks. I don't think this is just a Tom Brady thing. I think you could definitely argue that Tom Brady probably gets it more than other quarterbacks just because of the nature of who he is. I mean, he's one of the biggest celebrity there is quarterback wise, and one of the most vocal players in relation to those types of things. So like the same with Aaron Rodgers, but
that
just the league overcompensating a bit.
That looks like to me that looks like a tackle outside of Tom Brady kicking his leg like a toddler.
Yeah, then Tom Brady tries to kick him, right? Like a little baby over there, and
like
they call him roughing the passer.
Signature move. I love Tom Brady.
See the kick. That's hilarious.
I love Tom Brady, dude, but that is such a baby move.
Bad Grady. Why'd you do that? I was gonna throw it, and now I can't.
Greatest
now
quarterback
I
all
have to lay
time.
on the ground.
To lay on the ground.
Yeah,
now my pants are dirty.
We're sitting here doing like baby voices for the greatest quarterback of all time.
Legend.
Like, just, like,
my name is Tom.
Legend. Half $500 million. I'm like
$500 million. I want to remind everyone watching this that there is a chance today to win that Lawrence Taylor helmet. If you're just tuning in now, we are going to be giving that away at 11 a.m. Eastern time here on Bettor Sports Network during Moose and Keith, which is coming up next. So make sure you guys are staying tuned for that. And if you enjoy what we're doing over here, if you like hanging out with us, head on over to our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy. Hit that subscribe button and check out all the awesome content we're pushing out over there. We got a game show. We got videos coming out helping you win your leagues. It's fun stuff. It's fun stuff over there. That's going to be it for us today, though, everyone. A reminder, stay tuned here on Bettor Sports Network. Keith and Moose coming up next, followed by Lunch Money presented by Fantasy Guru. Then we've got Corey, Nando, and friends on right after that. It's a full day, a full Monday of programming, getting you ready for some Monday Night Football. Until tomorrow morning, though, we are out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Kick off the week with a bang. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
Bang, bang.
Bum, 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 bum.